What's up, everybody? What is going on? What is going on? Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hit the like button as we get things started. There were some technical difficulties. But we, I already said BRT Bernard Riley time. That is funny. That is funny. Yes, I am so late. Do have my own time, my own segment of time that needs to be set aside personally just for me. But no, shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you. We about to get this thing started. I'm waiting for Hood Servative to make his return. Make his return. He was in the back. There were some technical difficulties. I could hear him. He couldn't hear me. But we're about to get all of that going. But enjoy watching the Patreon scroll across the screen. Shout out to Jay Thomas, Dark Low IQ, Jay Chowders in the building. Shout out to Tiffany Jackson, Big John. Shout out to each and every one of you. Appreciate you. Shout out to Ron, Juan, LJ, Angela B, Marvin T. Appreciate you. Shout out to Educated Lane, E. Taylor, Jonathan Barronville. Shout out to Steph is Cold, Pernu, Jerry F, Torrell. I think that's Torrell Bentley. Cedric M, Rod of God Podcast, my man Sir Tice, Tyrone H. Shout out. Kenneth J, Independent Black Man, J Live. Appreciate you. Shout out to Kevin C, Brenda Muema, RM, Paul G. Appreciate you. Prize or Prisoner, Car Designer Chris, Perfect Blackness in the building. Appreciate you. Shout out to Maurice Novembre, She Sees Sounds, Solo Traveler, ORD. Scott Haywood, who was actually my very first Patreon that I met in person. Shout out to him. Shout out to Ron87, Excalibur, Cortez B, Vince Lindsay, Jay Morgan. Shout out to you. And who else? Jay Thomas, Darth Low IQ, Jay Chowders, and last but not least, I think Kofi Jackson and Big John. Now I'm about to roll the intro like regular, but we got Hood Servative in the back. Let's double check. See if you can hear me. Mic check on Hood Servative.
Yeah, mic check. We're good now.
We good now. Okay, we good. We good to go. We good to roll. All right. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Sorry for the slow start, stumbling out the gate, but let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right. We are back. We are in effect. Shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate each and every one of you. Sorry, I do apologize for the slow start coming out the gates. Most of it was my fault. Because I'm always late. It's CP standard time all the time over here. But shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to RM, drop the building while we fly it. The cynical one in the building. Shout out to you. A lame with game. I may do a show on that. I may do a show on just the title of your name, A Lame with Game, because I think you can be lame and still have some game. But shout out to everybody in the building. He says I'm here for the shenanigans. Shout out to me telling everybody at 11:44 a.m. that we're starting soon. Shout out to Deacon Dave. Shout out to the Clue Channel. Shout out to David Olerking II. Shout out to each and every one of you. And who else we got in here? Dark Knight Mentality in the building. Deacon Dave says, I want that instrumental so I can spit a hot 16 to it. I got you. My brother actually made that beat. My brother make beats. So yeah. I don't even know if he's in the business of making beats right now, but I know he make beats. I think he's always in the business. Help somebody want to buy a beat, he'll sell it. So yeah, so he's always in the business of it. But but I don't know if he'd be actively getting in there chopping and screwing stuff up like he used to. But he got a catalog of beats. He got a catalog of beats. But either way it go. So, all right, we about to go ahead and get into this. Shout out to Moolah01. We about to get into this. Like I said, apologies. It was mostly my fault just being late. And then when we finally was about to get started, it was some technical issues that added insult to injury. But we're here now. Hood Conservative in the building. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Nothing a little reboot couldn't fix. We're good now.
Okay, good to go. So, all right. Let me see if I can turn my volume down a little bit. All right, so let's get into this. I had to take a deep breath leaning into this one. The Jordan Neely situation. At a glance, people are not blowing up real bad off of this one. But at a glance, also, this looks every bit as, it looks very similar to the George Floyd situation. And I'm just sitting back, like just watching, just seeing, how people are going to react to it, how people are going to treat it, how people are going to how people are going to spin it, because there's a lot of there's fine spin on many sides. So I'm just watching what's going on here, and I don't even know a whole lot about it. I just recently found out that the guy is like one of the he does Michael Jackson impersonations. It's just weird stuff I just found out this morning.
He did. That was 10-year-old footage so far from what we can tell. That was him and his prime, I guess you could say. He was a young 20-something on the train at the time, and now it seems like life has kind of spiraled out of control for him since then.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you set it up, because I don't even know where to start. I take no joy in this kind of shit. I really don't. But go ahead, set it up. Go ahead. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, my bad. Where to begin? So this is 2 or 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
They were riding on the train in New York City, and apparently a crazy homeless person. And I say crazy homeless person
because why you got to be crazy?
Because it's a New York phenomena at this point. I think I was watching something from Tim Pool cover this, and I think like 25 people have been pushed in front of trains over the last year by quote crazy homeless people, right? So it's a thing. And now you're on the train, and a crazy homeless person gets on the train, and he starts like demanding. He says like, I want food." He said, "I don't have any food. I don't have any money. I ain't afraid to die. I heard everybody on this train." And I guess he like had a coat, like he had a jacket or whatever, and he slammed the jacket on the ground. And I guess right at that point, some guy came up and just threw him in like the sleeper hold. He choked him out essentially. You call it. It's a lot of people are like debating the tactic or whatever you call it, a rear naked choke or whatever. But he threw him in the L. He fiended him out. And he choked him out. And the thing is, he didn't quite choke him out. So there was a long struggle, and the reason why I say this is because if you ever seen someone actually choked out, it doesn't take that long, right? So whatever hold he put on him, he was holding him around the neck and head area, looked like a choke hold, and he was struggling with him for a few minutes. And two other passengers, and you can see this from the video. I don't know if you want to actually use that raw video on the stream because you'll get like a 18-year-old restriction or whatever. But
Yeah, I don't care about that. I mean, we can. I don't care. We could play it if you got that ready to go. But you
Well,
just
I have the news footage, and the news footage should suffice. I don't know, but I'll give you
okay.
the raw video if you want to. But
No,
either way,
the news footage is fine. Yeah, news footage is fine. But hold on, real quick, before you get deeper into it, you just touched on the part about this that I hate. All right, what I hate about this is that it doesn't take 15 minutes to choke somebody out or to make somebody fall asleep in the sleeper hold. It don't. And so what he was doing, okay, it is stupid to have somebody like that. It's no doubt stupid to have somebody like that for that long in that hold for that long. But clearly, the not with a deadly amount of pressure or a put him to sleep amount of pressure wasn't being applied to the neck if he was in there for 15 minutes. However, the end result is he killed him. The argument is, yes, he was acting crazy and erratic on the subway, but does he deserve to be murdered? Okay, but the actions wasn't the actions of outright murder. He didn't walk up on him and stab him. He put him in a hold to restrain him, but the results are the results. He killed him. I mean, or the man died, and then he died. He killed him. I don't know what the toxicology reports say. All I know is the man got hemmed up like that for 15 minutes, and he's dead. So it's like, so it turns into a murky situation where it's like, on one hand, charge him with murder. On another hand, he was restraining a bad guy who was threatening to do bad stuff. So I mean, okay, but this guy threatening to do bad stuff. So that mean he deserved to be murdered? Okay, no, he don't deserve to be murdered. Okay, but was he trying to murder him? No, he wasn't. But is the motherfucker dead? Yes. That when stuff like that happens, America is going to be at war over just that delineation of things forever. Like it's no consensus that will be had on that type of situation.
well, there's an issue even when you with you acknowledging that. The simple fact is, and I had a great discussion. You know, it's interesting. You would understand the weirdness of this more than anybody. I was on BMT's channel the other day, and just yesterday, and we were talking about
Which
this.
BMT? There's a Black Male Travels and there's a Black Male Talk
Yeah, yeah,
Dreadlock.
yeah,
The
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
one that
yeah.
look like
With the
Otis from,
dreadlocks, yeah, with the
yeah,
dreadlocks and the
the one that looked
glasses.
like the character from Martin that Martin used to play.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's my dude. That's my dude.
Okay.
So I was over on BMT's, and freaking MOT and I were on the panel together talking about this.
Okay.
And it was weird because it was actually like a regular conversation. But the thing about it is this guy was white, and I made this point to everybody on the panel. Then, if this had happened on the train, and I had to choke him out, me myself, if I had to choke him out in the same scenario, you would have never heard about it, and you would have never cared, and you might even would agree with me.
Mm.
But the white man,
Mm.
he intervened, and the nigga's an angel now.
Mm. You know why that is, though? It's because we view it in America that every white person acting alone is acting with the power of the United States government behind him. So it don't matter. Fucking Joe Biden might as well let choked him out. It don't matter, so it's like it's so that's why it doesn't even work just with the way that people think to say that, okay, what if it was just a regular black dude, what if it was a hood conservative who you saw a dude acting erratic and crazy and making threats, and and you live in New York, and people be getting pushed in front of trains and all kind of stuff be happening, so you just say, hey, I got to restrain this dude. You restrained him for 15 minutes with an arm bar over the neck, laying down, just trying to restrain him. It was other black people helping you restrain him. In that situation, yeah, it's gonna get looked at. It's gonna get looked at a certain way, like you were trying. Everybody will understand that you were trying to help. Okay, everybody will understand that you were just a concerned citizen trying to help, and it didn't go right, and then it will be some conversation of like, okay, it's stupid to have him by the neck for that long, arm bar over the neck for that long. It'll be some discussion about that, but I think everybody would understand your intentions. Add race to the equation, whole nother whole nother situation. White on black to the equation. Now people are going to view it as the oppressive power of the government put this man in an arm bar on a subway.
Right,
That's how it's going to be viewed in
right.
in cities will burn over that. That's
No, no. Here's where it gets even more racially sticky. Like this is where it becomes a real like what is it? A Gordian knot. This is a knot that's impossible to untie. Right. The guy, after the whole incident, you could see from the video, the guy had him in like the choker or whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it. He had him in that hold. There are other two guys there trying to help him. They're not trying to help Jordan Neely. They're helping the white guy. So they're all in this together in that moment. And so now the police come to the, I know.
it was some racial solidarity, huh?
It really was, bro. That was listen. When you ask for diversity and when you say community policing and you goofy motherfuckers walking around chanting "We keep us safe," this is what it looks like. This is really policing. This is community policing in practice, right? But I digress. I digress. So anyway, this whole thing is going down, and I don't know if the cops arrived on the scene before or after he let the man go, but apparently he lets him go at a certain point, and he's not moving. And the cops try to resuscitate him. He dies on the scene, and they do not arrest the white guy. They just let him take the train right on home. He didn't even have to like swipe his card again. He just got to go right back home.
And yeah, that's that. I would say that's bad. I think that he at least got to go into the station. He got to explain what happened. It got to be a formal report. They need to hold him there. I mean, keep
They
him
didn't
there.
even make him sit in the back of the squad car.
I'm just saying, like, while they're doing their investigation, I don't think it's that much to ask that that the person who pending the results of the investigation, the person who can potentially murdered somebody could be held there during the investigation. I mean, it's it's like
You could at
it,
least like dangle the handcuffs in front of his face or something.
yeah, it's like good Samaritans, act all the time, but when the good Samaritan act, when there's a dead body on the ground after the good Samaritan intervenes, and the good Samaritan was the one who was, mostly responsible for it, if not solely responsible for it, then yeah, some more than a statement at the scene needs to be taken. So yeah, I can't get jiggy with that part either. So I mean,
Well,
people got
here's here's
He
another
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here's another thing to consider, though. It wasn't just the one guy's statement, right? It's not like this white guy was alone on the train with Jordan Neely and the doors open and then Jordan's just dead and the white guy's like, hey, the nigga died. Like, it's not like that happened. It's more like all the other people on the train gave a statement too, and then they let the guy go. So I think it's a little bit
Oh,
more complicated, right? Remember, he's not alone in this. They were in it together.
I think that's why I take no joy in this, because in that situation, I do believe everybody within a earshot or eye shot of him wanted him restrained. They didn't want him killed. They did want him restrained. Everybody in an earshot or eye shot prior to the whole incident, they did want a man, an available man, an available man, as they say, to grab and restrain this person. And some of the clips that you showed, they're going to be saying, so that means he deserved to be murdered. And then it turns into a situation, and I probably keep going back to this, turns into a situation where I look at that, I don't see him trying to murder a man, because again, it don't. If you got an arm bar on somebody, I mean, we watch MMA, we know how long it takes to basically to not even kill somebody, just to make them go to sleep. It don't take 15 minutes, and he had him pretty secure, so he wasn't trying to kill him, but the man is dead. So regardless of what you was trying to do, even if you had the purest heart ever, that man is dead from results of your actions. So, it's plenty of times where niggas have done some stupid shit and we like, hey, well, I mean, that was stupid. There's penalties for doing stupid shit. So it's like, and then so now I have to question.
Well, let's
But hold
let's
on, but
call
then I gotta go to the George Floyd angle on it. Well, wait a minute. If that's normally not deadly for a 35-year-old man, that's normally not deadly, then how or why did he die? Was it now I'm asking, was it something in his system? Now I'm asking those questions. Go ahead.
Well, the thing about sometimes you do something stupid, right? And you're saying that on the side of the guy who intervened, the white guy who basically caused his death. And fine, that's a fair point. He maybe did something stupid that led to the death of a person, right?
Mhm.
But my counter to that is if doing something stupid, quote unquote, is the threshold, I would contend Jordan played the stupid game and won the stupid prize.
Yeah, can't argue with that one. Sir Tyson in the building. Sir Tyson in the building says, wait, y'all don't be talking about when these white folks attack black people. Another silly notion refuted. Read the quotes right while yelling landscaping. I don't know what he mean by yelling landscaping. I don't know what he mean by that. But shout out to Sir Tice. Do appreciate you. Do appreciate you. Um, yeah, D keeps saying in the chat room, murder. He killed him. Yeah, I listen. And this is where racial dynamics and racial politics, when it comes to this stuff, play in. And this is where it shows. It really does show how tribal people are. Where a lot of black people look at a situation like that. A black man is dead. A white man was the cause of it, regardless of the circumstances. Lock his ass up. We don't give a fuck. The details, no, none of that matter. It's a dead man. I don't care if he was in the wrong. I don't care if he was in the wrong. I don't care if this person had the purest heart and just wanted to restrain him. Lock him up.
Correct.
That's the tribal nature that comes out in these situations.
Correction. I think black people are magnitudes more tribal than white people. And that's what comes out in these situations. That's why you wouldn't care if I had to kill Jordan.
Mm, yeah. Question. It says, here's a question. How is it that back in the day you got more of the NYP detainment for jumping the turn. Oh, how you got more of an NYP detainment for jumping the turnstile than this white man snuffing out a whole life? Uh, your answer to that question.
Actually, those are two phenomena at play. One, you got the police being less aggressive in general. So like there's this whole policy of what do you call it, the no bail and all that. So you probably might get a ticket for jumping the turnstile, but they're not really as aggressive about that stuff in general. They're just not aggressive about what you would call like quality of life crimes. Like Giuliani's era kind of was famous for that sort of thing, and you're probably in your mind referring to something around that era, where after that the liberal ethos kind of came back in, and it was like, you guys are being too hard on the criminals, stop and frisk and all that, and so the cops became a little bit more hands off. And then the whole thing about the white man snuffing out a whole life, and this is why I kind of framed it as a crazy person on the train, right? It's a I don't know if other cities can relate to this. Other cities have had, violence on the train, but in New York it's a really weird acute problem because there's a lot of trains. There's like, maybe 100 or more miles of train track underground. And and I try to describe it for people, and you can probably see some of the from one of the videos I play. Like, imagine being trapped in like a metal box for 3 4 minutes at a time with a crazy belligerent person, and it's not like he's your friendly neighborhood homeless guy that everybody knows, like, that's Fred, he always over there sleeping and drinking, right? It's not that guy. It's
Yeah,
some random guy, right? And he might be a lot bigger than you. He stinks, he's angry, he's aggressive, and you just heard about some old lady getting beat up on the train tracks by a homeless guy, and now you're here in this moment.
yeah, yeah. Sertai says that's easy, and I'm surprised Hood hasn't said this. The DA is bought and paid for by Soros. That's over my head. I don't know if you want to
Yeah, no,
respond.
that's well known. Well known, well known.
Okay.
DA, what's his name? Alvin Bragg is some new chipmunk face looking dude, some little chubby guy, and he is like a new, like I said, the soft on crime prosecutor. And it's a weird thing where you got guys who are legit defending themselves against like armed attacks. There was like a bodega worker who was getting beat up by some dude. There was like a black guy beating up this older Hispanic guy. And the Spanish guy, it was crazy too. I saw the video. He just whipped out a knife from nowhere. It was like watching magic. Like the nigga was just taking blows, just boom, 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 and then voila, knife. And he just stabbed dude right in the gut, and dude dies. And they arrested the old guy. There was a story recently where a guy was like a security guard in some type of parking garage, and the garage is getting robbed. So the guy is the guy gets shot by the robber or whatever, and so after he gets shot, there's like a struggle for the gun. The security guard manages to take the gun, kill the robber, and now the security guard is fighting a murder charge. Like, this is the crime situation in New York City under this new prosecutor. So yeah, thank you, George Soros.
Hmm, All right. So let's get to some footage. Let me get this pulled up. Should have had it already loaded in the chamber, ready to go. But either way, we're here.
Hold up.
Um, this is okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
excuse me. A
um,
little sick over here. I'm fighting a cold.
yeah. Would you say that this was the reaction to this is, anywhere on par, like with the early, like, I mean, obviously, George Floyd, everything didn't happen with George Floyd, and same night everything was burning to the ground. It kind of simmered to a boil, and then shit started burning to the ground. Do you, in your observation of this, because like I said, I'd be kind of in the dark on some of these stories, would you say that people that is there like a early like the early uproar that could get on George Floyd's status with this, like, or do you are people getting numb to this kind of shit because it's just all over the internet at this point?
I think people are slightly numb in the sense of like feeling sympathetic every time something bad happens to a black person, whether it's legit or not. People are getting numb to the whole thing. I think that's real, right? But I think there's also a little bit, there's something a little deeper and darker at work here. I don't think you can have a summer of love situation with a Democrat president. Like the people who control the levers of power and all that, the powers that be, they won't let it go down. This had to happen under Trump.
What do you mean they won't let it go down? How are they going to stop it?
Well, during the riots, Trump was saying, "Listen, let me send in the National Guard." There was a couple of hot spots where Trump was saying, "Let me send in the National Guard and crush this." And the governors were like, "No, I got it." And then the cities burned. And I think if this was like under a Democratic president, a lot of the people would fall in line with the machine. I think a lot of what was going on was to make Trump look bad. And I think in that context, they're not going to let this happen under Biden because it would only kind of, if like the Democrat cities erupted in racial violence under a Democrat president, then the Democrat president has to do something.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It's messed up, but I can see it. I can see it. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into this. It's an interesting dynamic. I am looking at it from the perspective, though. Like they look at it as more of a totalitarian act by a Republican president, particularly Donald Trump, who they viewed as a wannabe dictator anyway. Versus, if a Democrat is saying that we need to do this, we must really need to do it. I just think that's probably how they think, and there's the sabotage part of it. They want it to burn under the leadership of a president that they don't
Hmm.
they don't rock with. So yeah. All right, let's roll it.
The home
because somebody is screaming is not screaming
threatened by the home
because somebody is screaming is not a legally justified reason to kill somebody.
No, hold on,
It's
Ellie.
just not.
Ellie, I didn't say it is, but that's also not what we know that happened. If this man is one of the passengers who felt threatened by the homeless man saying that he was going to hurt them, if that's what the record shows when we get the testimony, and you haven't seen it, so you don't know that that's not what it is, neither do I. That's why we have to have an investigation. If he had a reasonable fear of being assaulted, then you are able to defend yourself reasonably with commensurate force.
Well, no, this man could have.
I'm just looking at this black hand here. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, I can see it. Wait, give me a second. I'm looking at this black hand here restraining this man. Oh, and another hand right there. And I'm sorry, I just thought the Jason Black Tariq Nasheed police. I mean, it just seemed like they would just have this man's name and face plattered all over black social media. Just the biggest coon. What was his name from Django or Sam Jackson character? I mean, I'm
Even,
who was his name?
even.
Steven, yeah, Steve. I'm shocked that they not coming for him because that's traditional. That's their way standard of operation, the standard operating procedure. They're going to go less after the white guy, but if there was a black person involved that fucked up in their interpretation, I'm shocked that they not going after him. Just like we know the name of the white guy, right? His name is all out there, ain't it?
Yeah, the internet found his name. It's Daniel something, and turns out his dad is ex NYPD. So it just gets deeper and deeper. His dad is ex cop. The mayor of the city, a black man, power to the people, is also an ex cop. So all it's like a lot of interesting political crosswinds are meeting at this one event. And the interesting thing about this little freeze frame, and I don't know, this is like a New York thing. You got to be kind of part of the city to have this sort of intuition. It wouldn't shock me if that guy was actually like Dominican or something.
Oh, that's going to be guts. That's going to hit even harder. Somebody is saying that they already did, or you're saying Tariq did. They are going after this guy.
Yeah, I don't know for a fact who he is, but I'm just from the brief glimpses of his face and his phenotype and all that. No, me no black, me Dominicano.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing too. I mean that gives them even more to go off on if it's the thing I just found out about recently about a month ago. If he's a tether, that gives them even more to work with. But but all right. And you notice that they are the two people on here on the news, this guy and this guy. They're having a similar discussion. The part about it that I hate, where he's making the case. I mean, no, he's making the case that look, the guy was wilding out on the subway. He was making threats, or he was saying crazy, erratic things, and somebody and so and that's what caused it. He's leaping to, excuse me, the saying all those things. Does that mean he deserved to be murdered? And to say that is one to imply that the guy snuck up on him and slit his throat. Like he didn't do that. He snuck up on him and restrained him. Now the end result is the end result. You restrained him in a chokehold, well, in an arm bar that can put somebody to sleep. That's typically not deadly, and he held him there for 15 minutes. And it,
Well,
it,
and
so
and, and
it wasn't an outright murder, but the end result is that, I mean, it wasn't he didn't to ask the question, does he deserve to be murdered? To ask that question implies that the person grabbed him with intent to murder him. The result is the
God damn
result.
it, Bernard! God damn it! You're gonna make me Sam Jackson this shit. Yes, he deserved to die, and I hope he burns in hell.
All
Like,
right.
and I'm saying this for a reason. One, you don't know this in that moment. All you have is that moment with this guy, right? So let's hold that aside, right? You don't know anything about this guy. Now, that being said,
Okay, so
you're
if he would have pulled up on him and just slit his throat, would that have been fine?
that's kind of iffy. It's kind of iffy because
No, see that
you know
that
why
would have been
you
fine.
know why you know why because when I say the Sam Jackson thing, I'm being really hyperbolic here because obviously, like, to just gut him is a little too far. But the point I'm making is this, right? You're on this train, and this crazy guy being erratic, talking, making all these threats is literally how people get killed on the train. Like
Yeah.
that's the prelude to getting pushed in front of the train. That, guys are getting stabbed on the platform, the ladies getting sexually assaulted right on the platform. Like, this is the prelude to all of that. So when you tell me, well, does that mean he deserves to be murdered? I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, see, now I can't go that far. He didn't deserve to be murdered. He didn't re-murdered. He didn't deserve to be murdered. He deserved to be restrained. And if he had to get restrained as aggressively as possible, I'm all good with that. I'm all good with that. But no, I'll never be able to just, and it's not even effective to lean into the punch of the murder because, again, the based off all the actions that I saw from the white guy and the black guy, that everybody that was trying to restrain him, it was an attempt to restrain. Okay, now Justin Booker, see, now this is where they get wild. They saying he deserved to be ignored. He didn't deserve to be ignored. If you're on a train and somebody in New York and somebody is wilding out and they acting crazy, no, that's not what a man should do in that situation. I'm just gonna ignore it. No. I mean,
Yeah, pretend you're invisible, like the crazy person can't see you. Yeah, try that. I dare you.
yeah, no. So that's not how men should respond to it. I mean, look, I mean, see, this is where we gotta go here. They talk a big game. A lot of people, what men supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be intervening. They're supposed to be protecting. They're supposed to be, they talk a big game about that. Men do it. Men do it. And so it don't mean that everybody going to get restrained and laid down on a soft mattress. It's like, somebody's going to get hurt with this male masculine intervention that's needed.
That's the crazy thing too. So you got to understand in this moment. And so there's a clip I sent you, the news clip. It was another news clip of the actual event with a witness, and he's telling you, like, people are on the train, they were scared. Like, this is an older Spanish guy, and he's saying it on the news clip, like, I was afraid in that moment. And so in my mind, I'm like, everybody is just quiet, like sheep, thinking, oh my God, what's happening? I wish somebody would do something. And then somebody does something, and the guy dies, and they're like, "You murderer!" I'm like, you know what? Let him hurt you. I hope he does this. I hope something bad happens to you until you learn your lesson, and then we can come back to this moment, and you tell me why I'm so crazy.
And again, this is another difficult part. They say, okay, look what Nat Turner is saying. If he didn't touch anyone, he should not have been touched. Now, do you know, in a weird roundabout way, I'm not going to go into any details, but there was a situation where in my personal life where a cop told me that if somebody walks into your house and the door is wide open or just unlocked and they walk in, that's called, they illegally entered your home, but you do not have legal right to completely fuck him up unless he charges or does something aggressive. Like a cop literally told me that. So let's try to take that and extrapolate it to a goddamn subway. If he does not, if he didn't touch anybody, he should not have been touched. So let's just imagine, okay, you're a working man. You got a 1 hour commute to work. You drove an hour to work. Your wife took the train, the subway or whatever, to go do whatever little things she had to do, whatever errands she had to run. She's on the subway. A guy is on there acting crazy. Would you prefer that everybody wait for him to stab your wife, wait for him to do something, cause some type of bodily harm to your wife before they intervene, or do you want them to intervene while he's making loud, erratic, general threats to everybody on the train? Like that, so to me, that's where it gets ignorant, where we got to understand that yes, something was done, and the thing that was done was not bad up until the point to where the man died. Like, once, if everybody accept that part, then I think a real conversation can be had. But if you're not willing to even accept that, then it's like, then everybody's just pissing in the wind, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if you were saying something on that. You're muted, but I'll roll the rest of the tape. I'll roll the rest of the tape.
Roll.
Have pissed his pants, as far as we know. He could have been scared out of his wits. That doesn't give him a reasonable justification for killing somebody. You can only use deadly force when you are met with deadly force. There has been nothing in any record. None of the other passengers, not the man who took the video, has suggested that this man, this homeless man, Jordan Neely, was threatening anybody with deadly force. So to use deadly force against
Hey, you know what? Let's stop
again,
real quick. I just realized something, and you would have to play this like frame by frame. If you notice where, if you would go back just a couple of seconds, and you could see like the guy's elbow, and the kid Jordan, he's got a white T-shirt, so it makes it a lot easier to see. My point right here is this: if he were really applying pressure to his neck, his elbow would be pressed into his body a lot deeper in this moment right here. And this is what I meant about the effective chokehold. Like, obviously, this is what a chokehold looks like, but this is not a choke hold. You see what I mean? Like, he's not trying to stop the wind from coming out of his throat.
Yeah, and again, that's the thing that just gets weird with these situations. And I take, I mean, you probably take joy in it. I take no joy in sitting here as a black man saying he wasn't really choking him though. I don't
I don't take joy in it. No, come on, that's a little too far. That's
you,
a little
no,
much.
you take joy in proving niggas wrong. Can we can agree?
Yeah, fine. I'll
Okay,
accept that. I'll accept
but
that,
I don't
and
like
I'll
to be.
grandstand on this point all the time. Yeah,
Yeah, I hate to be the guy sitting here saying that I'm looking at it and yeah, he wasn't really choking him. It's like I don't like to do that. That's why for a while I quit covering this kind of stuff because I wasn't trying to be, as I said, I was like, I'm not trying to be the white man's defense attorney, but sometimes black people analysis of videos just don't be accurate, and I'd be like, no, y'all are missing details that matter. And so I just was like, I just quit covering. I was a while when I used to cover all these kind of stories. I just said, to hell with it, man. It's like people see what they want to see in videos. So I just said, fuck it. I'm not covering this stuff. But all right.
yeah, it's crazy.
Anybody force. So to use deadly force against them, and here again, the fact that he's a former Marine and knows exactly how deadly the force he was using could be. The ability to use deadly force against somebody when you are not threatened with deadly force is not a justification for homicide. Is it murder or is it manslaughter? That's more of a legal. That's a more of a legal question. I personally.
Yeah, I mean, after through all the back and forth that they did stumble upon the one question that matters, and
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
you're going to call it, manslaughter or murder. Manslaughter, they definitely got a case.
I think it's fair. I mean, I think murder is a little bit far because murder has like elements to it. Intent really is a huge part of it. Where manslaughter can be like a bar fight. Two total strangers bump into each other, words are exchanged, blows are exchanged mutually. Some guy falls, hits his head. That's not a murder charge, but it's homicide. And then what you charge him with would be some kind of manslaughter charge, negligent homicide, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, them Leo says stab with 2 question marks. The brother didn't have no weapon. Bernard reaching. Maybe you misunderstood what I said. I didn't say that he should have been stabbed. I'm saying that in order to analyze what he was doing prior to the incident, making threats on the train, and then for somebody to say, um, excuse me, for somebody to say, but he didn't deserve to be murdered for that. That implies that whoever accosted him in any way went up to them went up to him with outright deadly force, like they had a knife and they slit his throat or they stabbed him. Like I'm saying, that didn't happen. You can clearly see in the video that it was an outright attempt to restrain by people like that. I'm saying that's what happened.
And when you brought that up, that was also when I referenced the Samuel Jackson quote. Yes, he deserved to die, whatever. And because people are raising that argument about he don't deserve to die, and the reason why I brought that quote up, and I think this is a relevant after the fact type of argument. Like the people in that moment, they can't base their actions on this, but now we know more about this guy Justin. This is what I was talking about in the beginning when I said they
I
want.
hate this part.
Yeah. We're going there. We're going there because look. The news wants you to believe that he is a Michael Jackson impersonator and he moonwalked onto the train and got choked to death. Right? That's what they want you to think. He was just on the train, just beat it. And some white guy was like, oh, yeah. And then he got killed. That's what the news wants you to believe. But the reality is, he used to be that guy. He used to dance on the train and do all the moonwalking and the he and all that, right? He used to do that. And then his life went out of control. God knows what happened in his life. And so from there, now it's 10 years later. And over that 10 years, there's video evidence of him just being like violent and aggressive to random people. He has the arrest record of being violent and aggressive to random people. So there's a story, there's a case of him like punching some 60-something-year-old woman on a train platform. There's like a weird, some kind of weird kidnapping charge with some little girl, which probably, he probably grabbed somebody or something like that. Kidnapping has a legal definition. That doesn't mean like I threw you in a trunk and drove to Connecticut. It literally means if I hold you in place, if I restrict your movement on the street, that can be a kidnapping charge, right? So he has like weird charges that kind of imply crazy, aggressive homeless person. And so when you talk about when you worry about running into some crazy person who's going to hurt you for no good reason, he's kind of the guy you're worried about.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna let you have, and D is asking an important question that I think we'll have to just take eyewitness testimonies on that. But he's asking what happened before the video. He's saying, is there video of what happened before the video that everybody is playing? And if it was video of that, I think we would have seen it by now. I don't think anybody got him on tape when he was doing whatever he was doing prior to the incident. It is worth noting that there's no video of that, but there is, there's eyewitness of that. There's eyewitness testimony of that. So there's that. But I'm gonna let you have this one, because this is the part of it that I hate when we look back into, let's bring up some old shit. But it's like I understand. But go ahead.
I think I got a better. I have a better clip of that
All
incident. Right. Let me shoot that to you really quickly, because I got like a slightly extended version of that clip, and it'll flesh it out a little bit better for you.
Okay.
All right, there you go. It's in the back chat right now.
Okay. All right. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Stand by.
Hold up.
Give me a second.
Oh, you got pause music, man? Oh, this is lit. We fancy.
Yeah. We're doing it big. We're doing it big. All right. We are almost back. Almost back. Hold up. I can't figure this shit out. Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. Okay, we ready. We should be ready. Okay. All right, so I'll just play it. I'm gonna let you do most of the talking on this one, because these look like his Michael Jackson days. Is that him? He looked like he about to do.
That's him, yeah.
He look like he about to do some moonwalk.
But sure, yeah, rainbow. Angry Michael.
I was sitting there like, I know he would wilding out in his Michael Jackson day. Dude just called him Angry Michael.
Right, like he just does moonwalks and shit, right? That's how the news fuck your head up. That's how propaganda lie to you.
You can't be an angry Michael Jackson out there dancing in the street. That ain't how it work. You're doing a bad. You are bastardizing Michael Jackson's good name. Michael Jackson never showed not a single angry moment. If you are in character playing Michael Jackson, goddamn it, stay in character. Talk in the soft Mickey Mouse voice, and don't get angry with nobody. God damn it, you're blowing your cover. All right.
See you, Michael. Yo, that guy was crazy. What are you gonna do?
Wait a minute.
That guy was crazy.
He just moonwalked back to him. Hold on.
Yeah, he's stupid.
Am I looking at that wrong? Is that a woman with some? Okay, wait. Oh wait, no. That wasn't. It was an optical illusion. All right.
Yeah, that guy was crazy. What are you gonna do?
He didn't walk past him and turn around. He moonwalked to him.
Yo, that guy was crazy.
Listen, man, in New York City, A motherfucker might aggressively moonwalk at you, bro. What you gonna do?
Hey, somebody moonwalk. Somebody pull up on me to fight, and they do the moonwalk to get there. I'm running. I want no part of that. I don't. That's a different level of crazy that I ain't dealing with.
What, nigga? What are you gonna do?
Nigga, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Nigga, what, nigga? Fuck
I'll call a cop. I'll call a cop.
Punch me, nigga.
I'll
Do
call a
something.
cop. You gonna do something? Whoa, swinging, huh? Swinging, man,
Call
huh?
the cop, nigga.
I'll call a cop. I will. I will. You ain't
Hey,
gonna do
he ripped
nothing.
the shirt open like Michael too. He really ripped his shirt open, like, bro. This is wild. This is a hell of a day right
This
here.
is like, I've seen a lot of comedians going all the way back to Def Comedy Jam do an impression of how Michael Jackson would fight, and they was doing the exact shit that this dude is doing. Oh my goodness. See, that's what I said. That's what I said. I don't like this part. We gotta pull up old video. And it's like, oh, like, come on, man. God damn.
I just stepped on your jacket, Michael. Michael, I just stepped on your jacket. See you later. What's up with that, man?
This white ass said, hee hoo. That ain't how it go. Oh my goodness.
What do you think of Michael Jackson, people? It's crazy. He's local like Alessa. But sure, yeah, rainbow. Angry Michael.
Did they start it over?
See you, Michael.
Yeah,
Oh wait, no, that was the end of the video. Okay, all right. I forgot Twitter loops. Okay,
sometimes.
okay, yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, like it's not just doing moonwalks out there. You might get random outbursts of who knows what.
Yeah.
Now the question people are throwing back is, well, just being crazy doesn't mean you deserve to die or whatever. And it's not that you deserve to die. The problem now becomes when you present yourself as a threat to a group of random people. Let's say you did this, 9 times on 9 different train cars, and none of those people wanted to do something, right? You ran into that one nigga in 10,000 who was not just going to sit there and let the crazy person have his way.
Mm-hmm.
And now people want to defend the crazy person. And Candace Owens made an argument about this, and I kind of sided with her. I don't like the direction we're going, where as a society, the normal, functioning, rational people have to bend their lives to the crazy people of the world for no good reason other than they're crazy. And like there's another clip. I think the very last clip I sent you was something like that, where it was just like this white girl talking about her experience on the train and how, yeah, he hit me, but I felt bad for him. It's like, oh my God, that's like suicidal.
Well, it's actually 2 more. I know the last one you sent me separate from everything else. This is another news story. Let me see.
Yeah, we have to watch that. That's the most critical piece, because that's like the only news story I've seen that had like almost like after the scene kind of commentary.
Okay. All right. Let me see. I pulled that up. Quarter Water in the building says a woman was raped on a train in Philly. Woman was raped on a train in Philly last year. No one intervened. Where are the marches for her? But a dancing homeless nut deserves to be praised. What you just super chat to kind of go back to what I said, how you want intervention when people are doing crazy stuff. People intervene. Okay, crazy person gets hurt, harmed, or worse. It's like, do you want people to help or not? It's like it can't always have a safe, easy place to land. Now, if you just would have walked up behind, like I said, that's why I use the graphic. comparison. Like if he just would have walked up on him and just stabbed him, shot him, or something ridiculous. But an aggressive restraint for 15 minutes, like that, until the cops get there. Like that's if before this, if we would have asked people to describe what would you want men to do in that situation, we'd have told them the situation. We'd have said, what do you want men to do in that situation? They would have described exactly what happened, minus the man dying.
Here's a thing people aren't really talking about, from what I can tell, and it's complicated because it's almost like you got to have the experience of being in like a life or death struggle with another adult male, like man to man physical mortal combat. Like most people don't really understand what that means, and so I don't think a lot of people can really put themselves in that moment, right? You understand this. You now decide to act, right? Whatever's going down on the train, you commit to action, as they say. Now, someone said, somebody I was arguing with on Twitter said, you don't go up behind the guy and you strangle him, right? The thing to do is to confront him. And I'm like, oh God, no. Now you're asking to get punched in the face or stabbed or whatever, right? So you had the moment, you went up behind him, you throw him in a sleeper or whatever, right? So now you got him in his hole. And people are saying, oh, we held him so long, 15 minutes, right? Think about this for a second, right? How long is the appropriate amount of time to hold somebody you think might kill you? Because this is the literal tiger by the tail situation. If you let him go and he's not like out, he's going to get up and do something to you. And so now, like, you got him in this hole, and he's fussing, he's trying to get free or whatever, and you like, oh my, all right, it's been 6.5 minutes. The law says I got to let him go now, and so you let him go at the 6.5 legal moral time limit, and he gets up and he pulls out a machete, and now you got a real fight on your hands.
Mm-hmm. People would then say, well, why you let him go?
Right. Right. This is why I'm like, people say these things, but I think they're not, they're talking from a place of never having had their life on the line.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
We've been following the aftermath of a fight on the New York City subway that ended with a 30-year-old rider dead. Tonight, we're getting our first look at that altercation that investigators say started when the men threatened other people on board the train. News 4's Checky Beckford reporting on this. She's live in Soho, and she's got some new video of the deadly dispute. Checky.
Yeah, David, and that new video shedding new light on that altercation that happened underground here at the Broadway and Lafayette station yesterday. Did that supposed Good Samaritan go too far? Well, we spoke to a man, a witness who was there and recorded that altercation. And even he says he's not sure. He says it's complicated, but he does say he believes that the man who was placed in a chokehold was held for too long. We have to warn you that video you're about to see is disturbing. Heroism or vigilantism? The video shows 3 strap hangers subduing the 30-year-old man after witness Juan Alberto Vasquez says he got on the northbound F train and began acting aggressively, threatening riders. Law enforcement sources with knowledge of the case confirm his account, saying according to a witness, the man began shouting, quote, "I want food. I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm ready to go back to jail, and I'll hurt anyone on this train."
The man got on the subway car and began to say a somewhat aggressive speech, saying that he was hungry, he was thirsty, and he didn't care about anything. He didn't care about going to jail, that he didn't care that he gets a big life sentence, and it doesn't matter if he died.
Vasquez says he was scared and believes others on the train were too. That's when he says a 24-year-old rider came up behind the man and put him in a...
Wait a minute. The man who can't speak English is reporting what happened. Like he heard it in English but got to speak it back in Spanish. Like that math ain't mathing.
You know, it's weird. Black people choose the odd moments to be anti-immigrant all of a sudden.
I'm just saying. How the fuck he know what he said if he need a goddamn interpreter? that gotta get averaged into the equation. God damn it, we gonna blame this on racism. God damn it. No, I'm sorry. They got to pull out another eyewitness. They can't have his Mexican ass being the only eyewitness. I mean, the only person giving verbal testimony of what happened.
Nah. Listen, you wanted the Mexicans here. Now you got to live with it.
Oh shit.
Holding him there on the ground. Two other men standing over them also helped subdue the man.
If there was fear, the people who were bluish or who were there, where he separated everything, moved from their place. I stayed sitting in my place because it was a little further away. But obviously those moments, well, one thinks fear, one thinks he may be armed.
He says that chokehold lasted about 15 minutes, even with the train stopped at one point at the Broadway Lafayette station and the doors open.
Well, most of the people left. If they open the door, the train separates and it leaves. Almost all the people just stayed. The ones who were there on the floor fighting, a couple who was standing in front of them stayed.
Vasquez says no one thought the man would die, even after he went limp. EMS arrived and performed CPR, but he could not be revived.
I think no one thought that he was in a risky situation because he was defending himself all the time. All the time he moved, he tried to remove his arm, and then when they had it on his side, he kept kicking. So he thought that he's defending himself.
The 24-year-old who delivered the chokehold was questioned and released by police. He is not facing any charges at this point. The medical examiner has yet to determine a cause of death. Former NYPD Chief of Department Terry Monahan.
The way the detectives have to look at this case is what would a reasonable person do and what would a reasonable person be expected to do.
Now, the district attorney's office will ultimately determine if charges will be filed in this case. Police have not identified anyone in this, whether either the 24-year-old, the 30-year-old, or the other two people who were subduing him. But we do know the name of that 24-year-old and reached out to him. He declined comment. Law enforcement sources with knowledge of the case say the 30-year-old man who died has a lengthy violent criminal history, including assault. We're live in NoHo. Checky Beckford, News 4, New York.
All right. Now we do got one more thing. Now this last part we got to play. This was a more interesting one, and the link will be dropped soon, so if y'all can give y'all take on this. But this last one was the more interesting one, where it spoke to you saying how when something crazy happened, everybody who's not crazy has to conform or bend around it. Everybody has to conform or bend around it.
You know that meme where it's like the little dog sitting in his house at his table and the whole house is on fire around him and everything's just burning and smoke everywhere and he's just sitting at the table like, this is fine. Like we're living in that meme, and that's what they want you to do. And it's like, no, sooner or later, somebody's going to snap. And, you know, I'm not saying this guy snapped per se, but, you know, this can be expected every now and
then.
Right. At one point, sitting on the subway by a man who was having a mental I was hit at one point sitting on the subway by a man who was having a mental health episode. He sat next to me and he was elbowing and kind of flailing around and hit me in the face and in my body. And it was jarring, right? The idea that I would want him to be hurt in any way, I just didn't want to be near him in that moment because I understood something was going on here. Every one of us who's taken public transit has had this kind of situation, something similar happen, seeing someone struggling. That doesn't mean that our fear in that instance, and I was a little scared because I was hit.
It's a problem. Like it's people that need help.
But like my fear is not the primary object of like what we should be focusing on right now. It's the fact that this person is in pain. And so like the politics of dehumanization privileges the bourgeois kind of concern of people's like immediate discomfort in this narrow instance, as opposed to larger humanity and life. It's really freaking twisted.
Yeah, I just.
All right.
Now, do you understand what's being pushed, right? What she's selling, basically. So, if she can take a couple of kicks and punches upside the head, why can't you?
Yeah.
And she's a better person than you are because she's willing to like feel bad for the person who just scared her on the train and then basically assaulted her. You know, he's actually the victim here. It was her face in the way of his homeless elbow.
Yeah. Yeah. She's saying that she was flailing around and she was hit in the face and in the body. And I don't know what kind of flailing around gets you hit in the face and the body, but I mean, it sounds more like he just hit you in the face and in the body. It sounds like he did a 2-punch combo on you and you're making excuses for it. But either way it go. Yeah. Yeah. That, I mean, it's one thing to say that, okay, in a broad landscape, okay, certain people in society, they're humans, they need help, and yeah, we should provide whatever help they need. But in that situation, yeah, no, you fucking up, you hurting people, and yeah, somebody got to do something about it. Or somebody gonna do something about it, and it is what it is. But the link is in the chat. Anybody want to come up and have your say on this or participate in this conversation? But
This is the problem when you say somebody got to do something. People aren't going to help, right? That's what I want people to understand. Nobody is really going to come save you, and the few times where a person does come save you, he's more than likely going to get his life ruined. He's going to pay the price for coming to save you now. And that's really going to be the thing going forward. And so it's going to be like this this downward spiral, basically, where like I'm not going to risk my life to help you because, why?
We're getting to that point, but I don't know if we're there. I don't know if vigilanteism is on the rise. I don't know if there's a bunch of people out there trying to be Batman, but I do think that when we start pushing for a society where we're or that epic word or phrase, defund the police, if the police are being defunded or just minimalized in any way, they're shrinking the force of the police. I do think that's going to lead to more people intervening. However, when the person who intervenes ends up getting, okay, let's just say this dude get 10 to 20 years for manslaughter. So we've made the government officials or whatever, we've made them cower into not wanting to be tough on crime. Okay, we got them to do that. Then we are arresting people, locking people up because they hurt, harmed, or did worse to somebody in their vigilante attempt to fix the problem that the police are not responding to aggressively and fast enough. Okay, we start locking those people up because they hurt somebody while trying to help. Okay, so then you're going to have the police not aggressively doing their job, and you're going to have civilians just saying, "Hey, I'm not getting involved." Then yeah, it's basically law of the jungle at that point. It's just if somebody do something to you, they do something to you. You got to be ready to protect yourself. If if one animal catches another animal and starts trying to kill him out in the wild, other animals don't run to his defense unless they're literally in the same pack. Other than that, you don't see animals in the wild just randomly helping one another. Let me be a good Samaritan animal. It's like, no. So it's like that's where we will end up. We will end up in that situation where it's like, if you get got, you get got. You got to defend yourself. I'm not intervening. I intervene and I hurt this person who was trying to hurt this random stranger. Now I'm facing legal charges. It's like, no. Where's the police? Okay, well, we defunded them. We went soft on crime. We don't want them walking around. We don't want to have a militarized police patrolling, just walking through the subway, which might not be a bad idea to just have the police, just have some police on duty, just walking the beat through the subway. That might not be a bad idea. No, we don't want to do that. We don't want the citizenry to feel unsafe. So we got to have the police far away as possible. So it'll take them 30 minutes to get there. So yeah, law of the jungle.
You know what? When we talk about community policing, I said, I was joking. I said, this is what community policing looks like. And this is an element of it. But I think in a more practical matter, what community policing will be in the absence of like an actual objective, like municipal legal police force, it's going to be gangs. It's going to be cartels. It's going to be like Haiti. You know what's going on in Haiti right now? Oh, this is crazy. Haiti is lit right now. So apparently, ever since the president got Arkansas or whatever, he got CIA'd. The president of Haiti got CIA'd, and ever since that happened, Haiti's been done kind of like extra crazy, right? So now gangs are just running amok, taking over this, that, you know how it is with like gangs in third world countries. It's just like savage and brutal. And so I think the regular people have now turned on the gangs, and they're just like in the streets with machetes and rocks attacking suspected gang members. It's just nuts over there right now. It's going down.
Attacking suspected gang members?
Well, do you think they are like taking them to court and putting evidence in front of a judge? Right. So
everybody's a suspected gang member, huh? I guess.
Right.
Don't just say I'm a gang member. I didn't tell you that, but no, we think you are. So yeah, okay.
And how are you going to prove you weren't?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yay, community policing.
Fair enough. Tony Golden, who just sent the super chat, do appreciate that. Is on the panel. I'm gonna go to you after I get through these super chats. But okay, Key Ken in the building says, this is why when you see a couple arguing at the bar, you never intervene. None of my damn business. I'm 100% with you on that. When it's a couple, you can intervene all you want. She gonna be back with them. Stay out of that. And some of y'all may have some disagreement with me on this. This is where I'll take my cape out the closet and dust it off. There are situations where the strong in society are supposed to protect the weak, and a woman minding her own business, or a kid, or somebody, somebody who's weak minding their own business to no fault of their own. You assess the situation. It's nothing wrong with men intervening to help in a situation like that. But if that man is with that woman and that woman is with that man and they having an argument, that's their business. A woman just walking, minding her own business, walking her dog, some dude jump out the bushes on her. It's nothing wrong with men running in to intervene and help in that situation. The problem with that is that, well, we don't know the ideology of that woman. But I guarantee she probably a bitchy, don't need no man type of woman. So you do want them to get their comeuppance sometimes. You don't want to see them get killed, but they own some. But they probably, even if they just look peaceful walking that dog, they probably do got some fuck these men, fuck the patriarchy, don't need men, and then you get mugged by a man, and you want men to come help. So that's the flaw in my good Samaritan nature, where I do say there are situations where the strong in society should intervene. The flaw in that is that women have unknowingly or knowingly advocated for what amounts to law of the jungle, to where men probably shouldn't intervene as an act of civil disobedience to show the results of the type of world that that the women have been advocating for. But in a perfect world, yeah, in an ideal world, yeah, men should do something, but assess the situation. And if a chick then tried to steal some weave out of the hair store, and the store owner, no, that if the store owner belly to back suplex her ass, then that, damn it, she get what she get. I'm not saying go be helping diving on grenades for ratchet chicks, clowning, slapping gas station clerks. I'm talking about if men see innocent people being accosted and harmed by somebody who can clearly assess to be the bad guy, nothing wrong with intervening or helping out there. That's my position on that. But thank you for the super chat, dude. Do appreciate that. Who else we had in here? Tony Golden in the building, just showing support. And speaking of Tony Golden, he's on the panel right now, so appreciate your super chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, this is a pretty interesting topic. Well, not really, because you see, I don't want to be too political, but you see people on a certain side of the aisle rally behind certain things like this. And no matter what facts come out, they're always going to want to side with the alleged victim. From what I know, he had a long rap sheet. Like the hood conservative said, he was charged with kidnapping. There's a legalese definition for that, so I don't really know what happened there. But I think he actually had a warrant out for assault. I'm just not sure. I don't know if all the details came out. I don't know how threatening he was on that train. I can understand restraining him, but I just think that shit went on for too long, and then he lost his life for it. So I can understand them restraining him, but I just think they did too much to where he lost his life, which is sad. But I think there's a lot of nuance to the situation outside of the fact that they shouldn't have went that hard and bruh lost his life because of it.
All right, but see, let me ask you this: they were holding him, they were restraining him. So at some point, you're saying they should have let him go? Because it looked like he was trying to get free the whole time. So if you're restraining somebody and they're actively fighting, trying to get free, I don't know if you could let them go. Now, if three people are restraining somebody and that person gives a calm, all right, okay, cool, all right, y'all got me, all right, and then y'all ease up, let him go, and then all right, then he go about his business. Like there's a way that something like that could be resolved. I didn't see anywhere in the tape where where like it looked like he was fighting the three people that was trying to hold him the whole time, so I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I don't know if the guy who held him, the main guy, because I know there was three. There was two on his arms, one on each arm, and the guy held him. I think it looks like maybe a rear naked chokehold. I don't know if he knew any other holds, but a hold like that where you're covering somebody's neck is very dangerous. And I understand if you do it for a short period of time, but a choke like that for I think what they said may have been 15 minutes. That's just kind of it's just too much. I think. I don't know how trained he was. I don't know what other holds he may have knew that would have worked better. I don't know if the full Nelson would have worked better. He could have put that nigga in the full Nelson for 15 minutes. But it's just one of those situations where there's a lot of nuance to it, and it is sticky. Just like you said, I don't know. But to lose your life, and like I said, and I don't know how threatening he was for them to even put that in the chokehold. I mean, did he hit anybody? Was he in anybody's face? I don't know if those details came out.
Yeah. I saw a few videos where I think he had a active warrant or something, and he assaulted a older woman.
Talking about on this day.
Yeah, on this day, not before. On this day.
Yeah, but he was still violent. As someone who used to live in Miami,
that's irrelevant to the day. Though
I witnessed several assaults from homeless people to citizens. And I was even threatened by a homeless person once who carried a hammer. So it's a very volatile situation, especially living in a city. I think it's mostly the fault of the police for not arriving in time. But especially because they're usually officers, like whether it's like the subway patrol on these stations, but I think it's the fault of the police officers, but that's more political itself. As for this guy, I don't think he did really anything wrong, because if you've ever lived in in a city, a major city, there's going to be those kind of characters. And if you have never witnessed some sort of assault where the homeless person assaults a guy for no random reason, or this homeless person is very ignorant, then it's hard. Then at this moment, I see many people armchairing. Who don't really know a situation. He could have done something else, maybe like try to knock him out, but that's
that'd have been worse. You're talking about blunt force to the man's head.
That's why. Yeah,
not a lot of good options here. That's the whole problem.
That's true. That's why I don't hold him responsible, because if you've ever lived in the city, it can be very dangerous.
Yeah, he has to be responsible because he did it though.
Agree. Well,
no matter the intent,
have you ever lived in the city? Have you ever lived in the city? Have you ever took in the public transportation, like the metro?
I don't see how that's relevant.
No, have you ever?
No, I'm from the South.
Of course. Then you're armchairing because you've never been in a situation where
I'm not really armchairing. I know enough not to put somebody in a chokehold.
People are harmless, but they're very unpredictable.
Well, y'all are like belading different points, past each other. So I completely disagree with blaming the police officers.
No, because
but are you in favor for a police state then?
It's New York City.
Yeah, but are you in favor of police state then?
Well,
you want minority report?
I've lived in New York and I lived in the city, and I'm not trying to blame the officers themselves, but it's more political in the sense where there's so much demonization of police officers. These kind of cities are. New York itself is kind of where recently there was a homeless person who pushed an old Asian woman on the train tracks and she died in New York City.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. You can't put this on the police or even how people react to the situation. If the environment's the way the environment is, and I see people getting assaulted all the time, guess what? I'm going to be more sensitive to, as what Hood said, the homeless person that would preclude the death incident versus that's homeless Bob or whatever. He eats cheeseburgers, smells like pee, and just says some crazy stuff every now and again.
That's how it is with the homeless people in my city. It's like them, you see the same homeless person for like 10 years. It's like he's harmless. He gonna ask you for some change or $1 or something, and he probably smell like pee, and it's like it's no problem. But like they have a unique situation where people do be getting fucked up in subways and trains and stuff. That is a unique situation, and somebody is making the threats that line up with the stuff that you see on the news.
And there are strings of attacks from homeless people on these areas
across the country in big cities.
Yeah,
LA had a Olympian get hit with a pipe in her face in broad daylight.
Yeah, and that's where this whole Asian hate came from, where it's practically happened metro areas and alleys. So it's not the fault of the guy, and I blame. It's a political situation where there's a lot of demonization, and the mayor has kind of jumped in on it too. So of course officers are going to be scared to do their job, but in the public eye, people are naturally going to blame the police officers.
Yeah, but here's what we need to look at.
Let me deal with this comment. He's saying, would it be okay, Bernie, if that was your son? Okay, if you listened into what I've been saying, I never said that it was all okay. The stuff isn't all okay, but even if I humor you on this, would it be okay, Bernie, if that was your son? No, it wouldn't be okay if it was my son. If my son is acting crazy at the subway, I want them to wait for him to hurt somebody and then grab him. That's what I want to do to my son. Wait for him to hurt somebody. So even if I humor your argument, I would have to then make a completely irrational argument in order to change what I'm saying. No, if somebody is acting the way he was described to be acting, he did need to be restrained. There is questions of how you restrain somebody. Again, I take no joy in saying this. When I looked at it, I didn't see a hard, firm choke with intent to suffocate. I saw restraining by the neck where he probably shouldn't have been restraining him by the neck.
Yeah, because when you do a chokehold,
there's a potential manslaughter case there. There's a potential manslaughter case.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
When you do a chokehold, you can kill someone in a matter of minutes. I mean, under like 5 minutes. So, I saw he was kind of trying to restrain them, but
yeah, it was sometimes even the forearm. It was like right in here, like on the side of the neck. Then when the guy moved, it may have got like that, and it was an attempt to restrain. But I mean, the end result is the end result, and
but he obviously didn't have like a significant training. Like so, like everybody knows that choke because of the popularity of MMA, right? They know you can do, but they don't know like what can actually happen from it. Because if he was trained in any kind of jujitsu or wrestling, I have a wrestling background from high school. So like he didn't sink in any legs, like so the guy's still flailing around. So you in effect you have this choke in, but you really don't have any control. Because you need at least 2 to 3 points of contact. But that's not me sitting up here trying to, belittle or whatever. Hey, you do what you can do, right? If he felt that this guy was a threat enough for him to intervene, like you damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. It's like, where was everybody at? Where were all these men didn't protect these women? We heard that, right?
Yeah, I even saw one video of like a homeless man. I mean, I think he was homeless, but this woman basically told him stop. It was a white woman, and he basically sucker punched her, and even her husband didn't do nothing. So yeah, and it was in New York City as well. It was recently.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Dirty.
No, I was just clearing my throat. I was letting you rock. I would never protect a woman ever, like ever. But here's because there's no good deed that goes undone. Like, and I tell my guys all the time. I had my boy just called me yesterday. I made $10 because he helped a black woman in distress. And he drove Uber, and she was crying with all her clothes in a garbage bag, and begged him to take her somewhere, and she pay him later. And then she got there and promoted a fight and had a dude try to jump him. So, like, I would never protect black women. It's never worked out for me. Anyway, so, but here's my point. Self-preservation is the number one law of life. And that works both ways, right? You're supposed to preserve your life and your safety by not acting wild in public. That's part of your social contract. I'm supposed to protect myself when you do act wild and lay you down. That's my part of the social contract. I don't believe that the MJ impersonators should have been deleted, but I don't think that that was their intent. I think they did the right thing. They just had a horrible outcome. I heard the interview with dude's father. Dude's father is sad his son is dead, but he didn't want to deal with his son. That's why his son was homeless. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. That's all I'm saying.
That's another thing. People don't really. I haven't really gotten too deep into his personal background. I know the kid has like a crazy story with his mom. So his mom, I don't know at what point in his life this happened, but his mom like got murdered in some kind of brutal situation. Apparently, she got like dismembered or something like that. Damn. And he's been kind of probably off his. He hasn't been right ever since, as they say. And so, like, you could only imagine. Like the downward spiral, like he was trying to keep it together, but he was obviously struggling with stuff, and then the demons took over, as they say.
Yeah, and there is this recent attack where this large black man basically, and he was in and out of prison, and he was on the streets, and he sucker punched an old woman, and she was hospitalized. I think even recently there was that mayor election, Andrew Yang wanted to propose to, send many of these people to like a mental ward, like a psych ward. But he got a lot of pushback from his own party. So I think it's just a case of bad politics playing out. That's how it is.
Well, people want to play both sides on many issues, right? So we all want to talk about mental health or whatever, but nobody wants to spend more money here or there. And I'm not pushing that we spend it. Like, make sure nobody hears my voice and thinks, oh, we need to, have this like utopian society. Now, I do believe that in a good society or whatever, we do take care of people, but to a certain extent. But I think it starts with family first. And the government has shown many a times over that they're they're not good spenders of our dollars.
I think
You
we
know,
made a mistake when we started shutting down those those mental wards, because ever since then we've seen a boom in uptick. So I think it would be wise, whether if it's this administration or the federal government, to start implementing more of those around the country. I think that would really decrease.
yeah, but then you gotta accept the stuff that happens behind the closed scenes in some of those places too.
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be an uptake and people getting the patients getting killed at them facilities now.
Yeah,
crazy
like
crazy
they
people.
would get
Crazy
handled.
people gonna get killed.
Yeah. Hey Bernard, they would get handled. Hey, remember conversion therapy? You know, like for all the people that enjoy that time in our history in the country, they didn't pray the QIA out. They electrified it out.
Well, I
Well, do
mean,
you, do you think those
Let me say this
facilities
real
would?
quick. When it come to crazy people, I almost took a job one time around crazy people. I'm so glad I didn't take it. A job I was working at for a while at a job I liked that the company closed down completely. So I ended up going to a similar job where I'm operating machines and whatnot. But I was in between jobs, so I was potentially going to take this job. It didn't pay bad either, but it was basically working around crazy people. And I was like, well, I don't got no experience with this. People that do this, they have like some kind of nursing or nursing adjacent type of background. And she was like, well, no, we need men. I'm like, for what? She was like, she just
you
basically said
know,
that she was like, a lot of these people, it was so bad she explained it. She's like, a lot of these people, they're really strong. And when they're on their either on or off their medicine, I don't know. Crazy people just got weird, crazy strength. They got crazy people strength. And they like, we need a big man to to be able to help us handle these people. I'm like, oh, so y'all want me to basically be the enforcer? And I started asking a lot of detailed questions. And I didn't walk away thinking this, but when I thought about it after the fact, I'm like, oh, they want me to be the guy in there that got to basically put them crazy people in the same hole that the guy.
you gotta beat up the slow kids for money.
Like, that's the gig.
I love this country.
Y'all hire me to be the one in there suplexing crazy people.
See, that sounds like a nice gig.
No, that sounds like never help women. That's my point. These chicks have degrees, but they can't read. If the answers was in the back of the book, they couldn't be teachers. That's why their kids can't read. They go out here and they want to get social service degrees, but then they make the people even crazier because they're professional fight promoters. They try to raise kids by themselves and want every man in the community without kids to step up. They're horrible at being human beings. You have to let them suffer with the crazy that they started.
I agree with you to a certain extent,
Yeah,
but
Wizard X, just hold your thought, Wizard X. Let me get to my super chats. The Clue Channel in the building says, can you drop the link to your brother's beats if he's selling? I will talk to him and I will figure out. I know he got some links somewhere, but I'll see what the deal is, and then I'll get back to you on that, and then it'll probably be a link that will be periodically dropped through the chat room. So I'll talk to him on that. So stand by. E Capone. E Capone in the building says, lock that murderer up. That wasn't justified. I mean, it's at least a manslaughter case in there, but I just
negligent homicide.
People, yeah,
What's that? 3 years of probation.
When they push for under policing, and then you're locking up vigilantes. Yeah, it's welcome to the jungle. UI. Wait, hold on. Wait, go back to the UYP. Okay, yeah. UYP studio in the building says a 30-second choke can kill a person. That's why I say he wasn't like. I hate to even go there, but he wasn't choking him. But because I hate to go there, but like, I mean, pull up any MMA guillotine and look how tight you got to have that to make somebody tap out or pass out. Like you got to be in there like that. Like it is. So no, it is. That's why I'm like, it's something else. It's something else going to happen in there, and I don't even want to speculate. because I don't even want to take it for George Floyd and be like, okay, what did he have in his system? A knee on the back of the neck isn't deadly. You know, an arm bar that's not even tight in there isn't deadly. So what, you know?
Look at the string of attacks, and I mean, look at the private chat. I included just a headline because that was one of the major reasons why I didn't decide to move to New York, because I had some job offers. Because there was New York City, because there was a bunch of attacks, especially in these subways, and knowing that context and living in the city, and I did spend some time in New York when I was younger. You know, there's a lot. If you want to get assaulted, a good way is to go to public transit. Either, you know, sexually harassed, because even like my girlfriend at the time, when she was, you know, at New York, there's a homeless flasher and whatnot. So it's very crazy, and it's only getting crazier. I don't think he should be charged at all. I think it's a failure on New York policy.
No, I don't think it's well, I don't know what policy could save a spontaneous crazy person, you know, making people not feel comfortable on a subway to the point where men on the subway have to try to restrain him. What policy to prevent that?
Maybe anti-vagrancy policies, like, you know, the no loitering kind of things or whatever.
It doesn't work, bro.
Then you know, like his party, like the Democrats, like most of the members will say that's and what's a human rights violation.
Yeah, it's like over policing, like what they said about like stop and frisk. You know, it's a lot of debate over whether or not it worked. I mean, it probably did reduce crime, but it probably, you know, people kept getting caught on little, you know, having nickel bags and stuff. I mean, it's like, you know, if you're very libertarian about it, it's like, hey, let the man walking around with the nickel bag, let him live. But he getting stopped and frisked and getting caught with his nickel bag, and so it's like, you know, but by doing that, it does overall reduce crime. It's just a lot of little petty crimes that people just getting, you know, over policed about. So you know, they say you don't want the over policing, but then when you got under policing, you got more crime. Well, we got to do something about the crime. Okay, we did something about it. You said it was over policing and it was racist. It's like that. So that's the problem that they always going to run into.
Hey, two things. Two
things. Dirty was trying to hold your thought on that. Dirty was trying to jump in.
All I was going to say is vagrancy laws won't work because you pay to get on the train. He's not a vagrant. He's a passenger. And on top of that, city trains are nuts. Like, I have a friend who posts every day about the things he sees on his way to work on the city train. And every day is a syringe, is somebody with with a white substance and a credit card, is somebody rolling blunts. It's people, you know, it's the train since 2020, since the pandemic in liberal cities, the subway has become the alley. You know, last time I was on the train, I saw 3 blacks. When I say 3 blacks, y'all know what I mean. I saw a felon fighting a woman and a gay, right? They had the trifecta. The woman said that the felon stole what they call it, not security dog, like the emotional dog.
The emotional support
animal. Yeah, she said he stole a support dog, and it was a support dog, and he said it was his dog, and she tried to promote a fight because she's a black woman and tried to get the gay to fight the felon. You know what I'm saying? And then the felon hit the woman in the face and hopped off the train with the support dog. That goes down on the train, bro.
How you steal somebody's dog like that? That's funny, man. It's like they sitting there arguing over who dog it is. Did they like separate and put one over here and other over there? Then both of them say, come here, boy, and see who they come to. Like
she
they didn't do none of that.
A black man couldn't have a support dog, and she accused that man of being a thief. And I don't think he stole a support dog because the support dog was kind of
I thought you were saying it was her dog. I thought they were having a dispute over whose dog it was.
The woman in the gate was already on the train. The felon comes on with a support dog. The woman starts yelling at the felon. He must have stolen the support dog. The felon said it is his dog. The woman tried to get the gay to fight the felon. The felon hit the woman in the face and hop off the train.
Now that is some subtle racism I've noticed. They don't think black men can have emotional support dogs. They don't think we got feelings. But we can, we want to get on a plane with our pit bull too. God damn it! Like no, they gotta let us. they gotta let us take our pit bulls everywhere. They are emotional support service dogs. God damn it! But shout out to Sir Tice. He says, "Dirty bars, take trash to the garbage." Thank
These last $2, I'm not gonna leave.
But thank you. Oh yeah, I know it was another one. Telescope 3 in the building with a $5 super chat says we still have crazy houses. It's called the hood and public transportation. Thank you for the super chat. And we just were joined by Trey. No, this isn't Trey, the MBD. I think at this point, maybe a little known fact. Y'all know, Hood, your boy Trey was actually shouted out on Jason Whitlock's show. Did you know that?
No, I did not. When did this happen?
Well, Jason Whitlock did a show. It was, about Kevin Samuels and a few other topics. He brought on the Asian guy that he always have on his show. The Asian guy said he loved watching the Black Manosphere because, he said white guys are basically cucked and they scared to say this and scared to say that because they'll be called racist or misogynist. But he said the black sector, the Black Manosphere, the only place that really keep it real. So he started naming content creators that he watched. And so he mentioned Angry Man. He mentioned Nation. He mentioned he said Chaotic Truth. He said a few things about Chaotic Truth. Who else did he mention? He named a lot of people, and he said a smaller creator, Trader MBD. And I was like, wow, So Trader MBD got a shout out on Jason Whitlock's show. It was pretty cool.
That's dope.
Cool. Yeah, but anyway, that was a sidebar. I'll probably send you the clip. I know Trey might want to use it for something. But all right, back into it. But here's another Trey that's not Trey the MBD. I thought it was him, but Trey don't spell his Trey with a Y. But but go ahead, some other Trey. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me? Am I coming in? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring in a little bit of nuance as far as the choke is concerned. Just a little bit of background. I've been practicing martial arts for all my life and trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Muay Thai, karate. It's basically bred in. It's been in my family. My family is a martial arts business, and it goes back. I'm probably like 4th, 5th generation. So I guess I want to educate y'all on a few things. That was a rear naked choke.
Okay.
And it's different from a sleeper hold that you might see on like WWE or something. Because with a rear naked choke, you're cutting off the carotid artery, which is a blood choke. So if it was a breath choke where you have the forearm against the windpipe, yeah, you might see a guy struggling a little bit more. But as I've seen in the chat, a lot of the other guys have, iterated as well that choke is deadly, and it doesn't take 15 minutes to kill a person. It takes roughly, if you got a real good guy, maybe 15 to 20 seconds. If you got a noob, like I was watching on the video, less than a minute. And then when you have the people on the side helping hold him, restrain his arms, so he can't fight the choke itself, then yeah, it's very plausible for somebody. It's very easily to kill somebody. Yeah. So that's all I wanted to add on to the conversation.
Okay, so basically, if I understood what you're saying, because I was looking up something while listening, you're basically saying that is a deadly choke. That was a deadly choke hold. It was a deadly maneuver.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And honestly, anybody who's been trained.
I think you touched on this. It typically doesn't take 15 minutes. Like if you're doing that chokehold to kill somebody, it doesn't take 15 minutes.
No, it doesn't.
What does it take?
In a proper, I would say it could take at least for someone who's really trained. So if that guy was, let's say, that person had 5 to 6 years experience, right? Okay. That's what I would consider. If that person with that level of experience, I would say it'll take maybe 30. If he wanted to kill him, 30 seconds or less. He's 5 years. That person, I say like one of these fair weather guys who just hop into a class and take 2 classes and go home and never be seen again. Then go to the local Hooters doing a UFC fight and talk shit and think they're a badass. Yeah, they're gonna struggle a little bit. But if you know what you're doing, yeah, it might take it could take that person, even with that level, if he's applying it right, maybe 5 minutes. Maybe probably once he sinks it to get his hooks in and sink everything in like he wants to, yeah, maybe 5, maybe even less. But my thing is, when I saw him put his hooks in, I say hooks, I'm sorry, I'm using martial arts lingo. When I say hooks in, you put when he took his back, he took his legs and put them inside between his thighs or on the inside of his thighs. And then when he's how do I say this? It's kind of hard to explain. But when you got someone's back in that maneuver, when you got some of that back and you put your hooks in, and then the pressure is not coming from the arms, it's from the guy is pushing his hips forward. So he's stretching the guy out. So it's not like it's an arm choke where you're using your arms. You're using your whole body to choke the guy out. And to create that pressure around that neck, to create that pressure. So
I think the issue.
Hold on. Let me ask this important question. Based off your we're I'm accepting you as the authority on this. Based off of what you saw there, would you say that man's goal and intention was to murder him?
I would say yes, because I would say yes because anybody who has an ounce of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training knows that it doesn't that technique. I mean, you don't even when we teach the children, right? We don't even let the kids get in the hold, like even sink in those holes during like when we're rolling. Well, we another lingo. We call it sparring. When the kids are sparring, we don't let even kids sink in those chokes in, and choke out the kid. Like we don't even let them even get close to that point where we might think. We always stop it early. So yeah. So if I see a guy who's holding, he had 15 minutes. That guy was probably dead way longer before. It didn't take 15 minutes to kill him. He was dead maybe.
Well, no. Now you added some hyperbole when you say that right there. But let me ask you, when you said he was dead way longer before the 15 minutes, like
what I mean, I'm sorry. Let me read.
Hold on. The witness testimony. The witness testimony says that he was kicking right up until the time he stopped moving. Then they let him go.
See, that's another part that you don't understand. So that's the thing. Your body, you could be convulsing. You know what I mean? Like it's the thing. Like when people, it's kind of hard to explain to somebody who hasn't trained before or been in that position because you can't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I say you're basically brain dead, but your body's on autopilot. Is what you're trying to say.
I understand that, but
your body does convulse. So it's not necessarily that. And then I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Trey, but look, because I choke dudes out. I bounce their head on the sidewalk like basketballs. If I really have to fight you, I'm trying to knock you out.
No, don't get me wrong. I don't. If I'm in that type of situation where I'm fighting for my life, I'm gonna take the person. I would eliminate the threat. I would say that. But at the point where, but that's in a life or death situation. I don't think that man was in a life or death situation.
These are the elements. No, these are the elements of the situation I think we have to examine. One, was he right to intervene? Because if he's going to intervene, now he's putting himself in a life or death situation by definition. Yes. And so now he's not wrong for applying whatever move. Even I'll grant you the legality of the chokehold.
I got to disagree.
If you're going to say he's right to intervene and then it's a life or death situation, he's not wrong for applying the chokehold.
No. This is where you're wrong. Like when you choose to intervene, you have a responsibility to make sure that you're just using the appropriate amount of force. You just because you enter into a situation doesn't mean that you can just take somebody's life unless you can prove. I'm sorry.
No. Check this out.
Where is that written?
Hold on. Wait. Let Hood ask the question. Go ahead.
No. You're saying that by choosing to intervene, you have some sort of responsibility to only use like the delicate maneuvers. And I'm like, where is it written?
Well, where it's written is that because, like I said, these type of things bounce back off on people. So just like when a boxer, for example, a professional boxer, let's say Mike Tyson goes out, was in
there are laws about that, sir. There are laws.
I know, I'm just saying. I'm using this as an analogy.
Hands are registered weapons.
I'm using this as an analogy, and that's my point. Martial artists, just like martial arts, BJJ should be held to the same standard because, like I said, in these type of situations, it's not easy when people with an untrained eye, they don't understand what's going on. So it's easy for somebody who just sees someone getting punched on, they can see that and say, well, that's a bad situation. But if I have someone in the rear naked choke, 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, you don't know what's going on. You think I'm just holding that person down and restricting them, but actually I'm killing them.
You're making this argument that a guy who goes to the gym for a couple of weeks and rolls around on the mat is now he's got lethal weapons, and anything he does be heavily scrutinized. That is very low bar.
I train people.
That's a low threshold.
I'm sorry. I don't just. So when I said my family owns, I don't just I'm not one of these guys who just go to the gym or just regular. My family, I'm like third, fourth generation. Like I train people. Like I taught classes. Like this is not me giving my like subjective opinion. Like when, in all honesty, like between all the martial arts, kickboxing, boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu is probably the one of the most dangerous because it's not like with boxing where you can point, you go for points or you have a scorecard. With jiu-jitsu, at the end of the day is your whole goal is to either maim or kill.
But Trey,
I think you're adding a lot of like supposition to this.
I'm trying to help you understand.
Anybody could kill anybody at any moment in time. It don't take 2 pounds of pressure, like at certain parts of your temple.
Exactly, but what point is when you're trained though, when you have certain particular knowledge, and you can utilize that knowledge,
you're more
against
dangerous
somebody.
Because you don't know.
Wouldn't it be
that
more?
Makes it even worse.
Wouldn't it be more effective to just beat him over the head? He had him from behind.
No, I think one of the gentlemen said before that he was in a better position to, if he came from behind, to put him in a full Nelson. I mean, rather than grab his neck.
Yeah, but that shows his lack of training.
Or he could have tackled from behind, or if he could tackle him from behind, he had all 4 people restrain, hold him down that way.
Trey, but most people don't know the difference between a blood choke and a air choke. And that's super basic stuff. So doesn't
it is? But unfortunately, 90% of the population isn't trained.
Yeah, but he could be one of those guys that goes to a bar, sees somebody doing something, and just drinks beer and is like, "Oh, I could do that."
It's not, but this is my point. I thought the same thing. I literally thought the same thing because I was looking at it and I was like, but once I saw he put his hooks in, because that's different. Like I can see you don't get there's certain type of nuances, certain type of maneuvers that people use that you can see that, oh, he has a particular type of knowledge. Like when I see him pushing his hips forward to stretch them out to get a deeper to cause that to create more leverage, then I'm like, no, he's not one of these fair weather guys who just hop in and hop out of class, or who just took one class and just say quit it. That guy has at least, I would say maybe at bare minimum he has at least 3 months experience.
Yeah, but basic combatants training. If he's a Marine, he went through basic combatants. Right. I was in the military too, and we didn't go through that, whatever. And basically, like if you do the weekend warrior thing, and you may forget certain parts of your technique. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, or maybe even forget like that, like you're in the heat of the moment kind of deal too. So
yeah, I understand. But 15
now
minutes,
your rationale's out the window.
But 15 minutes, like my father, I just put up too much information out there. My father, he's in law enforcement and he does defensive tactics and he trains the local individuals, and he said local officers in the area, and he tells me all the time, like 90% of these guys don't train. That's why they shoot first. And a lot of these guys are scared. But that's going on to another point. But the point of being is that once you still have a responsibility with that knowledge to be, not to take somebody's life. You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay, you try not to.
Real quick,
I think you're just waiting for police.
Real quick, yeah. So if you're saying that he had, solid knowledge and ability in how to take somebody's life, and he was doing a deadly maneuver, and you're saying he did it deliberately with intent to kill, then why? I guess why would it take? I mean, why would it take 50? Why did it take 15 minutes? I mean, I looked at it taking 15 minutes from perspective that he didn't know how to kill somebody, or he wasn't trying to kill somebody.
So when they said 15 minutes, I'm taking it as that he did let go of the hold until 15. He held on for 15 minutes. Not that he was trying to kill him. It took 15 minutes to kill him because the guy could have been like you said. I think you said earlier that he had passed out. Oh, and he had went limp.
You're saying, you're saying you believe that he was passed out and motionless?
Well, at that point, being as a blood choke, when him passing out means that there's no. I'm sorry.
And he had lifeless limbs for an additional amount of time, and still was being in the chokehold. Like,
yeah. So when you're
it was being recorded at that point, it would be evidence of that if it was a lifeless man.
I'm trying to say. I'm sorry.
If it was a lifeless man being choked, it would be evidence for it.
I just want to add this one point right quick before you go. So when you have, with that being a blood choke, the guy passing out means there's no blood going to the brain. No blood to the brain means no oxygen. So every second after that man's dying. So that's permanent damage on. Yeah, exactly. That's permanent damage. Well, not necessarily a stroke, but that's permanent damage to that person's health. So it doesn't. So anytime, so at whatever point he passed out in that 15 minutes, I mean, I think it's I gotta look it up again, but I think it's like after it's only like 20 seconds or 30 less. I know it's less than 30 seconds. You can kill a person after after so much time without air or blood to the brain, that person dies.
All right, go ahead, Terrell. You got it.
Okay. 4 years traditional judo, standing up, because that on the ground is when you get kicked in the fucking head. Okay, number one. Number two, 3 years judo. Okay,
Yeah.
I did it standing up. What he's saying, I did a rear naked choke on the street, November 2017. Guy had a fucking knife. Okay, I did an arm bar to break his grip. Well, literally, I was breaking his elbow, so it was like, I'm gonna break your elbow if you don't let go of the knife. He dropped the knife. One of my customers picked up the knife. I slid my right arm up, instantly had him in a rear naked choke. Right, it's a smooth transition. Right, like you said, if you have trained long enough, it is smooth. That guy, I'm gonna say right now, he's going to jail.
Yeah.
If they find out literally that he has combat training, that he has martial art training, he's going to jail, Trey. He's going to
Yeah,
jail,
he is.
y'all. I'm telling you this right now. I choked the guy out. So once I got him I counted, because again, as my sensei and my senpai and them taught me, 3 seconds.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and he was out
Then,
on his feet. He was out. The guy was out on his feet in my arms.
then that shows that this guy wasn't really properly trained in what he was doing. He could have learned it from TV.
Either he wasn't properly trained or he
This is the
wasn't
thing,
properly
though.
applying it.
No, this is the thing. Like when you're in the streets, like everything is a lot different when you're rolling with a gi or you don't have a gi on. Like you have no gi jiu-jitsu, which you just have like a pants and shorts
Under Armour. Under Armour shirt.
Yeah, and then you have gi. So, but at the same, certain things factors change the situation. So I can understand if the guy, if I have regular clothes on, try to apply certain techniques on a guy, that it's going to take a little bit more time because if he has, depending on what type of clothing he has on, I might have to work around that. You know what I mean? Or I might have restricted clothing on myself, so I might be able to move a certain way. So it might not happen as seamless as if I'm in class versus if I'm in the street. But at the end of the day, it's still going to get done. So it might not take 30 seconds, but if it takes me a minute to get it in, you know what I mean? That's once it's locked in, and especially when you got a guy who doesn't know what he's doing or has no formal training, don't know how to defend it or anything. And on top of that, you got 2 other guys holding the guy's arms back, on arms down, and those are the 2 things that you need to fight that choke. like you like. Yeah, so
but that's
Well,
that's
again, let me ask you guys a question though, because you're both standing on a certain argument, and you kind of referred to it a couple of times, and I need to make this point of legal clarification. Okay. We're all familiar with this idea that as a boxer, as a professional boxer, as a professional fighter, and this would probably include MMA fighters, right?
Yes.
There's a legal restriction on you just getting into street fights.
Correct.
Right. That's as a professional. No. Hold on. Let me answer. Let me lay the question out before you answer. Now, professionals aside, you're making the argument that any guy who just goes to the gym and gets training,
it does.
How do you really police something like that?
I'll explain to you how it does.
Because and then where is it written? I need to understand where this is.
I'm trying to let me explain it to you why it makes different. Because as the gentleman said before, is when you get into court. So when you're getting tried, that those jurors are sitting over across you, then they go through discovery. It changes the whole realm of what, as far as it changes the whole outlook on how they look at you. Like if it was just 2 people who don't know what they're doing, that's one thing. But when you have a situation where you have a person who has intimate knowledge on how to do something, and they leverage that knowledge to get somebody, then it can be argued that from a lawyer has grounds where he can now argue that you have intention to do that, use that said knowledge to take that man's life. Where before, if it was just two people who don't know what they're doing, that it can be construed as an argument, because you can say, well, he don't know what he's doing. He just grabbed his neck. And it just happened that way.
You're
But
raising
if
a
you have a
legal
person who
argument.
has,
Hold on. You're raising a legal argument in place of a legal statute, and that's what I'm trying to point out the difference.
well, I'm not referring to a statute. I'm speaking to how a lawyer, a prosecutor could leverage that information against
Trey,
you. So
but Trey, you got to be careful with that though, because like my homeboy is a lawyer, and we're supposed to go to the gym today, but I end up not going. And I have a boxing background, I have a wrestling background, and I talk to him all the time about self-defense cases. All the legal matters are effective because it's the practice of law, just like it's the practice of medicine. Now, depends on jurisdiction, depends on jurors, depends on a whole host of things. Okay, so if you're in a duty to retreat state, like a non-stand your ground state, you're going to get screwed, even if you're in your own house. Like you're definitely. And look, New York is probably not going to be as friendly to this guy, so he might go away for a long time.
Exactly, because if he was in Florida or he's in
thing.
Virginia, like he was in Florida or Virginia, he would have a case. Because there was not too long ago, there was another what's his name? There was an MMA fighter who just got I think, but he had a similar situation where he knocked a guy out in Florida. I think in Miami. I think it was Jorge Masvidal, but he got off. I'm not sure if that was the right person. It might be
right,
another guy.
let me circle it back here, y'all. Let me circle it back
I'm sorry.
here. Because okay,
He got off.
Terrell was saying that some type of chokehold, if you know what you're doing, and I assume you got to really know how to lock it in there tight to get somebody to pass out in 3 to 5 seconds.
Yes, 3 to
it's not that it's not as difficult as it's not as complicated as people.
But either way, if done right, it's 3 to 5 seconds.
I mean, from what he said, when he says 3 to 5 seconds, he means like from an expert level. Like you talking about like a black belt in jiu-jitsu, yeah, he'll get you out there. You'll be talking to Jesus in a couple of seconds. But like if you're talking about,
belt.
I'm sorry,
I'm a purple belt, Trey.
Oh,
So,
I'm a purple belt as well. I'm black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Okay, and
I've been training Muay Thai for like 10.
I respect all all the disciplines and everything that y'all have learned. Y'all are throwing out time frames of 3 to 5 seconds, 30 seconds, and then on another hand, y'all are saying, "Oh, this guy knew what he was doing, but it took him 15 minutes."
I didn't say that.
No, what I meant by like I said earlier, I didn't say that it took him 15 minutes to kill him. I took that when the article refers to refers to 15 minutes, I'm taking that as that's when he let go.
I think you're misinterpreting some things here. Let me try to reset
because
it.
It isn't because from my perspective, like it doesn't take 15 minutes to kill. It doesn't take 15 minutes to kill somebody with that maneuver.
There was a struggle that lasted 15 minutes. And it's not to say that he had him in the chokehold for 15 minutes with a limpless body. I mean, with a limp body. They were no, from the eyewitness testimony on the news clip that we played on this stream, the older Hispanic gentleman, he was saying the guy was kicking the whole time and then he stopped moving. And then they were trying to revive him.
I'm sorry.
It's not to say.
Let him finish.
It's not to say that, like, because the way you're kind of painting the picture is almost that, like, he had him in this hold, he choked him out, and then the guy just sort of like went limp, or he convulsed, he was like stiff or something. Like, no, I think people on the train can see the guy kicking and flailing. If people on the train, the eyewitnesses say he was fighting and struggling, I would probably take that over your kind of outsider testimony.
I would say this. I would say this though, because kicking and flailing, the man was probably was fighting for his life. Because again, like, and then on top of that, but when he goes out, your body's still your body. You're not just. I guess, like I said, you would have to you have to experience being either seeing somebody put in that position, but like they just don't fall. They don't just stand still. Like the body convulses, people shake, even when they're coming to. You know what I mean? You don't have control of your body.
Okay, three things. Number one, I don't validate anything you're saying, not because you're not knowledgeable about what you're saying, but because you're playing Monday armchair quarterback. If I slow motion anything after the fact, I can see that.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
It is
Hey,
what it is.
Hold on, wait, hold on, wait,
sorry.
time out. Dirty. I don't even think he's got to whatever point he's trying to make, and you're already trying to.
Second of all, I've had to fight bouncers at the club, and they put me in a chokehold and kick me out the club. Normally, if you relax, people let you go. I mean, you can fight and tussle if you want to, but for it to take not only the person with the submission hold, but 2 other people to try to hold you down, that's crazy people's strength. They were in fear. And third, I don't think that the people are going to jail. This is not an election year. I think that based on everything that's going on,
he's right. He's right.
Look, Mayor Adams is trying to calm this down. He do not want blood in the street right now. He's trying to like let this just blow over.
Just to bring context what you were saying, Dirk.
Definitely, man. Just real quick, I got your next trade, but I think manslaughter is definitely on the table. I don't think that, okay, it's only murder if you could look at him and say that this dude was trained and skilled and knew what he was doing and put him in that maneuver with intent to kill. Then you can call it full blown murder. But I think where they can get it to land, especially if he ain't had no drugs or no fentanyl or nothing in his system. If that man had a clean system and he died, then yeah, they bare minimum going to call it manslaughter. I think that's what's going to happen.
But then you would have to then you would have to factor in his previous criminal record because
I don't give a damn about that.
No, they're going to take that into consideration. They're going to take that.
I don't know. I mean, okay, if they take it into consideration, they take it into consideration. I think they should. I think they should. They could look at this as exactly what happened. But go.
I think you
was about to explain. You was about to respond to something before I said that.
I agree with you, Bernard. I think that from a legal perspective, sitting in the court, I could see this easily going manslaughter, because like I said, the public, for the average person, doesn't understand what they're seeing. So you would have to have somebody on that jury who has martial arts experience to recognize what's going on so easily. But if you have anybody with any type of knowledge on martial arts or specifically Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, yeah, they're going to see it that way.
I say negligent homicide, similar to the drunk driver that kills somebody, because you're not supposed to drink and drive, and you know what the effects are. And if you take any kind of test, it'd be a negligent homicide.
But if you have some record of doing that, then they might amp up the charges.
Your victim as a drunk driver wasn't fighting back, so that's a weird way to stretch this. So I don't even know.
I'm saying that's probably the highest they would charge. It'd be
I think when you hold on, I want to talk about something real quick, because this is an interesting little problem. So if you're going to talk about the history of the white guy, the Marine, right? When you mention his training, you're now getting into his background. Technically, you're bringing up his history, and so now the story it's a battle of narratives at this point. Ex-Marine. He's probably a war hero. Motherfucker probably rescued babies in an Iraqi village.
And now this white boy saved Private Ryan now all of a sudden.
Yeah. And he's Rambo's nephew. So
the purpose of bringing his background would be to understand.
No, let me flesh it out for you. Because here's the thing. You got this guy, he's the Marine, versus the history of a violent homeless person. And so I think that when you clash those two narratives, the Marine kind of stands up against that.
Well, I would say that the narrative isn't. I don't think the narrative of who the person is or their background will be the point of bringing up his history. It was really like, what does he know, and what was this intent?
Yeah, but
it was specifically to figure out his intent, because if he intended to, excuse me,
you have to in both cases. So, guess what? From a defense attorney standpoint, and I don't practice law. I just hang out with lawyers on the weekend, right? Yeah. Like I am absolutely gonna do all this stuff. The one reason why the glove didn't fit allegedly for O.J. Simpson, for example, is because he wasn't taking his medicine, and then they put form-fitting gloves over top of freaking plastic gloves. So you're not taking your medicine. And like from a defense attorney standpoint, I'm gonna set my client up to win, and be damned to whether it's legal or moral. Well, not necessarily legal, but be damned if
my
it's
point,
like fair.
My point
Right,
was
right.
as far as bringing up his backgrounds, because like I said, you need to prove intent, right, in order to distinguish if it's manslaughter or if it's a murder charge, right? So like, I don't really see why I can understand why you would bring the point up like who these people are, what they've done in their lives, but as far as like sticking just strictly to the point of figuring out intent, like if
Yeah,
that man
yeah,
has any
yeah,
type of
yeah.
mark,
Let's
sorry,
have that fight. No,
They
Trey,
always
you're
bring up
losing the
the
point.
person's
I'm sorry,
background.
You're losing the point here. You want to
what's
bring up the intent of a random Marine riding the train versus a homeless person with a history of
no,
beating
that's not my
people up
point. My
on the
point
train.
was, I'm
So
sorry.
in that moment, whose intent was pure? Like you
No,
really
no, no.
want to play that
That's
game?
not what I mean by intent. When I say intent, let me clarify. When I say an intent, the intent did he intend to kill that man, or did he not, or was he, or is it by accident? Like that's what I'm talking about as far as intent. Like who that man is and what his story is, that's another that's a different argument. But as far as the intent concerned, like I want to say, was that
You have
hold
to compare
applied? Did he intend to kill him, holding him for 15 minutes, or was he just strictly trying to restrain him and he just so happened to die in
There's
that
no way.
process?
No, you
There's
have to.
there's no way to say he intended to kill somebody unless
Yes, you can.
they got the
Because if
unless
you
they
have
got the
not,
video.
yeah,
No, wait,
I'm
hold
sorry.
on.
Let
We
me
talking
just
about
speak on this.
in the court of law now. Unless you
Yes, you
got the
can.
video looking at the camera showing
You
like his
100%
like a
can.
car with his screen name.
Trey, you
I'm
have
Says,
sorry.
to Trey, you interrupt people before they
I'm
make
sorry.
the
I'm
point.
sorry.
You
I'm on my
let them
phone
make
and I
the
can
point,
barely
then
hear you guys.
refute
I'm
it.
sorry.
Let them
so
make
so
the point, then refute it.
so he's looking at the camera with a little cue card that has his name on it and says, "I got up this morning waiting to kill somebody." Intent is very, very hard to prove in a court of law. It really is.
It's hard to prove.
And you have to also factor, I mean, if you've been paying attention to like what's going on in New York, there have been a string of attacks in the subway particularly, and if this goes to trial, it's not going to look good because even the woman that the homeless guy assaulted, she believes also that he doesn't deserve jail time because it's a very tragic situation, but
No, Wizard X. I'm sorry cutting you off, but I think you're missing the point. Like the conversation kind of moved to the point of intent to kill, and they're basing their argument that he was trying to kill based off what they know about judo and the way that he did the move, or jujitsu, and the way that he put his hooks in, whatever that means. They're talking about that. Like if you're looking at his technique, and this is technique that you're taught to do if you're trying to kill somebody, then you can establish intent to kill in that way. I think that argument does break down, because if you are trained to that level to where you know how to kill somebody, and it doesn't say anywhere that it takes 3 minutes to get the job. I mean, 15 minutes to get the job done, especially with two people helping restrain you. However, that man did die, so it does seem like it would be the manslaughter.
You make a good point. Like you make a good point, such as it doesn't take 15 minutes to kill somebody, especially with a chokehold. Just such as with I think his name is Torrell Boxley. It took him, I think, under like maybe he said 3 seconds. Yeah, 3 seconds. So it's that, as I said, there's been an issue with what's going on with New York, especially with the subways.
Here's the thing, though.
It's a failure of the police officers not coming on time. It
Yo,
took
chill out with that one, man.
Yeah, what's up with you and police?
Huh? Because if you're not listening,
No, that's a fair point.
Average police response is like what, 15 minutes in the country?
Right. So in that 15 minutes, you leave me alone with a dangerous person, and then you're mad he's dead. Go the fuck out.
And Eric has received serious criticism towards his police response, and he has been increasing the budget and even defunding public libraries for that. So, in order to try to address that, but it's still happening. So this is it's a fault of the police.
All right, real quick. All right, I do want to get some fresh eyes or thoughts on this. I'm gonna go to Citizen Lou. Please tell me you have a background in judo, jujitsu, served in the military, and was previously a subway bum at one point, and could give us all perspectives of this thing. So go ahead.
I know, right? Nah, well, I had trained jujitsu.
Okay.
But I think that horse has been beat down. I don't think we need to talk about maneuvers anymore. I think everybody here is a master technician, and I don't think I need to delve into that. I mean, from what I heard, it seemed like all y'all just black belts. I mean,
everybody a ninja. Yeah, we
you know,
got
everybody is Joy Gracie. You know what I'm saying? But no, I want to say to the title, it says he the new black cause. No, I would actually disagree. I would say that he's the other. This is actually like for the white cause. If you look on social media, white people are united over this. I mean, this is almost like some type of rally cry. They are there's this one account, right? Hey, they're just posting random black dudes yelling on Subway saying it's Jordan Neely.
Yo, I saw that. That shit is the worst trolls. Because you type in Jordan Neely and you get all the homeless people being aggressive on the train. It's so brilliant when you think about it.
Yeah, and then Twitter has to like put like all the little
the Twitter warning on there.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Yeah, so that's why I mean this is like this is kind of it's just vigilantism, man. It's now they're there's I think because in San Francisco they were going around beating up homeless people, spraying them with bear mace, kicking them. I mean, this is getting I don't know, man.
Look, Bernard. I'm going to show you something. Citizen Lou brought up something, and you kind of called me out on this, Bernard, and I stand in it. Like white folk, they be trying to get their little racial victories off, and I be like, "Go, white boy, go!" Because like shit be so funny sometimes. So white folk are really having fun with this whole thing, and they feel like they might actually win one this time. I think they might actually get away with one. And so I want to. Can you just share the screen really quickly? Like the white people trolling is crazy.
All right.
Like you think I was being mean and insensitive talking about this? Like I was trying to be sensitive to black feelings, right? Look at how white folk are treating this. This shit is wild.
All right, hold on. Let me.
Well, that's what I was getting at. That's just where I was getting.
Hold on. You said you dropped something. You got the screen share up.
Yeah, just share the screen real quick.
All right, cool.
All right, let me
hold up.
Now, the title of this tweet, right? He put this tweet up. It says, "This is how I prefer to remember Jordan Neely." Listen, this is not me. This is white people trolling, right? This is how he prefers to remember Jordan Neely. Now, listen.
People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end.
Now, I'm not gonna keep going, but yeah, white folk are really going crazy.
White people are like that's why they're the most fucked up race. But it just is what it is, That's why Batman is white, and that's why you don't see too many black people in Gotham. It's just kind of what this is just what it is, bro. Like
you don't see too many black people in Gotham.
Yeah, like white people crazy about that. Like white people making joke. They think this shit is funny.
Yo,
like,
hold on. If Batman beat up too many black people, they would.
The only black people you see in Batman are black people trying to feed their families working on the docks.
That's good, right?
He break their backs, and they only have health insurance.
I've said that before. That I noticed that at a fairly early age that Gotham is like the most highest crime place in the world, and I'm looking around and I don't see no niggas. So I did.
Right. Batman is my hero. He barely touches black people. What the fuck? I don't know why y'all playing this game.
Because during the Joker Wars, they had a bunch of black people. That's what Joker was hiding out at, and Batman was scared to come to their area. That's the flip side.
Are you telling me Batman is scared to go to the black part of Gotham?
It's called the Joker Wars, bro.
No, that's what I'm
Gotham that Batman is scared to go to.
Joker's definitely white, but he don't notice. He let Joker go away. Anyway, but it's all good. But Bernard, this is my point though.
But this is what I was going to say about the whole jiu-jitsu argument. That would go off of. Then you would have to say that all Marines know jiu-jitsu, right? And then you would have to act like that I'm not old enough to have friends that went to the Marines after high school and they came back and they still can't fight and all they do is drink beer. So
it's not that. It's just totally negligent. I mean, it's just reckless. I mean, it's just like he snuck up behind the dude. It's not like he like squared up with him, and they went, toe to toe. He just snuck up behind him and
Why should he
put him to
square up
sleep,
with
and
a
he
crazy
killed him.
person? Why
It was murder. I mean, it
Well,
just
no,
is what it
no,
is.
hold on. Let me address that though, because you're not the first person I heard mention that. Like, oh, he should have just squared up with him. Like, why? That's not how you win a street
No, I
fight.
mean, well,
You have the
because
chance
you're a
to
bitch.
crush him. You crush him.
Because you're a bitch. That's why. Because you're a bitch.
This is not the honor
Wait a
system, bro.
minute. Hold on.
These are not the
Time out.
Queensberry rules.
David,
No,
not you,
no,
David.
no, no. I'm not even
Not
taking
David.
that personal. No, I'm
Oh yeah,
not
I was
taking
talking
that
about
personal.
that guy. I was talking
No,
about
no.
that dude.
My point is though, this is not the Queensberry rules here. You want like honor and nobility with crazy subterranean homeless people. Like this nigga is mole people. Like I don't know if he's gonna treat me like I would treat him.
Well, my
Okay,
thing is,
hold on. Wait. I'll explain it like this, Citizen Lou. If I have a problem with somebody, two sane men meet at a bar, or happen to be at a bar, they got a problem with each other. We about to fight, and then I wait until he not looking, or it simmer down. He walk away, and then I go sneak him like that. Okay, you can say that I did some bitch ass shit right there. However, if there's a person who's being a public nuisance, who's threatening people on a train or subway, you don't got to square up with him. You're restraining somebody. Yes, you do. That is the appropriate time to sneak up on somebody and restrain them. Like
or knockout.
Knock out. But see that I think that would have been more dangerous if you would have came at him with like hard blunt force. That would have been more dangerous, Well, we see people get blindsided and knocked out all the time.
He died anyway. I don't think it would have been that dangerous. He died anyway.
I mean, but again, unless you accept that this guy is a kung fu master, then you don't look at it like he came at him with intent to kill. Even if he came at him with just a hard, blindsided, right cross. You wouldn't look at it as it was intent to kill. You would look at both of those situations as it was an attempt to restrain. However, the man died, and if the man is dead, the man is dead, and charges get brought on for that. It just, I mean, So
I guess
that's why I said I don't think it was murder. That's why I said I don't think it was murder. Like Trey said, I mean, when you do anything, you have to assume a level of responsibility for doing what you're doing. It don't matter what happens, don't matter what the outcome is. If you're riding, you're looking at your phone and you kill somebody, they'll hold you responsible. Putting somebody in a hole like that, killing them, even if it was not intentional, there's a level of responsibility that you should probably hold for that. Especially since I don't know, you guys mentioned that he was threatening people and all the actions happened after the threats. I mean, were they just verbal threats? Was he in somebody's face? Can somebody clear that up for me? Maybe
Well, so I'll clear it up, Tony. So half of those arrests were like, like in New York.
No, that day. I don't care about his past. I'm talking about that day on that train. What did he do?
Oh, what did he was saying something about I'm ready to go to jail.
I'm hungry. I'm
hungry.
food.
I'm ready.
So he was
I'm
hungry,
ready.
so he got-
I don't care.
Oh, he said I'll hurt everybody on his train. That was like the most provocative thing.
Yeah, that's probably the most
But did he
provocative.
touch anybody though?
No, he didn't touch
Oh, no.
anybody. Nobody was.
He said
Nobody was in
everybody-
physical danger.
So he said, "I'll hurt everybody on this train," and then they just put him in the chokehold.
Well, the
and he
question
said,
of
he's
whether
not
you're in
ready to
physical, you say that nobody's in physical danger, and I think that's a little
I'm
bit
not saying
speculative.
that. I'm asking for
No. Lou said that, and I'm like, you
okay.
can't speculate that. I think he was once he got on the train saying, "I'm ready to die, and I'm not afraid to go to jail." You're in physical danger. I think that's a given.
He was crazy, David.
Yes,
He
crazy people are dangerous. What part of that is like wrong? Crazy people are dangerous by definition.
Bro, he probably want to get 3 hots in a cot. The motherfucker ain't probably slept.
I know, and he'd kill you to get it, though. That's the point. He'd kill you to get it.
Whether he will kill you or not doesn't matter.
Well,
Okay.
I witnessed that several times, and when that happens, when a crazy person boards, like the metro or something like that, the next stop I'm off, I wait for another train to take because it's too much. I experienced those kind of people.
Yeah, look how many crazy people catch an airplane and then the rest of the passengers have to subdue them. I mean, it happens. Like everybody's not comfortable with your crazy. Like I'm comfortable with the crazies I know. I protect my crazy people from little kids who think they dangerous, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, but you can't sneak up on them and do chokeholds and put them to sleep though, just because they don't fuck with them.
Yeah, just because he said he'll hurt
you can't do that.
somebody.
I mean,
I've threatened a lot of people. Nobody's
okay. So they should have beat you up. There's some certain
But
things.
no, they did. No, what do you mean they should have beat me up? What the fuck are you talking about? They didn't touch me.
No, there are no options, bro. There are no safe, clean options here. Once you choose to act, you're gonna get your hands dirty, and somebody might get hurt. That's the only truth.
But he didn't really have to act.
So they yelling at me. I could just swing on them and punch them in the face.
No. I'm saying when a person
that's
has
what y'all
fighting
saying. That's
words.
really what y'all say. Y'all say if somebody yelling at you, making threats, you can hit them.
You're being hyperbolic. What I'm saying is,
What are you saying then? If you're not saying that,
I'm saying what I'm saying. There are certain things as fighting words that are an invitation to duel. There's a difference between like, man, fuck you, ain't no nothing, and yo, I'm about to blah 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 blah, and you like what? And they like, yeah, because blah blah. Okay, cool. Let's take it to this natural conclusion. There's a difference.
Yeah, try saying I have a bomb on the plane. Try saying that.
Yeah, bro. I said I had a bomb.
You're talking about post 9/11. That's a total horrible.
No, I said I had a bomb on the plane in jest to one of the TSA workers. They was like, what you got in the bag? I was like, man, 2 kilos and a bomb. They was like, yo, you can't say bomb. They didn't care about the kilos. They was like, yo, bro, you can't say bomb. Then the rest. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all are comparing TSA to being on a.
No, we're talking about the action.
Okay, here's the thing. I think we all can agree that his behavior warranted him being restrained. Can we all agree on that?
No.
Wow. And that's where we disagree, because some people think
restrained by who?
It's just crazy. Like I don't understand what. All right, so the guys who say you shouldn't intervene at this moment. What is the time to intervene? When somebody is actually being beat up, or you wait till somebody's bleeding? Like, I don't understand when is the proper moment to intervene.
Well, I mean, so
when he's in somebody's face, I think is the perfect in the middle. Because me saying I'll hurt everybody on here, but I'm in a space where there's nobody around me, and then
armchairing.
Nobody around you. He's on the subway in New York.
You know how close you are to people. When you walk in the train, when you walk on the train, and this is a crowded train at 2:30 in the afternoon. That there is no space. So when you walk in this train and say you'll hurt everybody, you're already a dangerous person at that point.
I don't know.
I mean, this is the part that I thought that everybody would agree on, that he needed to be restrained. I thought that the only debate that would be had is either the when people say, but did he deserve to be killed? No, he didn't deserve to be killed. Did he restrain with the attempt to kill, but he ended up killing him anyway? So that's manslaughter. And some people will say, no, it's murder. He knew what he was doing. I thought that would be the only debate. But to say that a man being loud, crazy, and erratic on the subway and making threats, it was just completely out of line to restrain him. Like I didn't.
But restrained by who, Bernard?
What do you mean restrained? Whatever available. Now let me answer the question. Whatever available man who feels that he's capable of restraining a threat to the public.
Well, now, Lou, you raise an interesting point when you ask, by whom, because you're basically saying that we have to wait for police to come save us, and that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly, bro. People are gonna die if I gotta wait.
Yeah.
Well, David, that oddly sounds like community policing, huh? That's interesting.
That's what I called it. That's literally what I called it.
It sounds like community policing. Oh, okay.
Right? Ain't y'all getting what y'all wanted? Not you, but like the people who wanted community policing. This is it.
Okay, so when it comes to crazy homeless people, it's let's community police and put these motherfuckers down and everything. But then when it comes to other stuff, it's
put them down. I don't think. Hold on, wait.
Hey, where are you going with this?
I don't think nobody is saying crazy homeless people. Let's put them down. That's why I use an analogy. He didn't sneak up behind them. He didn't sneak up behind him and slit his throat. He snuck up behind him. And he did get him in the arm bar or whatever. I don't know the lingo. And 2 other people was helping, trying to hold the man still for 15 minutes. That's basically trying to hold him until the police get there. That's what happened. Now, obviously, they did something wrong in the process if the man is dead, and so that's a problem. But the simple act of restraining a threat on the subway, not a problem.
Yeah,
not a problem.
No, when I said put him down, I meant restrain. I didn't mean steal.
Hear me on this one. This is why I say, like, for example, when I was in Miami, there was this there was like they had their own security unit, and there was usually sometimes one person walking. He's walking in the train, checking each cargo. But in this case, I don't know how the subways in NYC work, but I know there's a lot of chaos. So when Citizen Lou says someone should have came there was no one, and it took 15 minutes for some sort of security to come. So that's a failure on the city's part.
Should have came there. I just said who should. No, y'all were saying he should have been restrained. I said by who, and then
I'm going to give you an answer.
Who has this authority
disingenuous,
to
bro.
restrain?
That's really disingenuous to say by who.
I'm just asking. I mean, just saying. Who do y'all think should have authority to? Don't train him like police? Don't subways have like
police? So the guardian angel should restrain him.
No, dude. Dirty folks, you live in the South. You don't know what a train looks like, nigga. No, and don't New York have? Don't New York? Don't y'all have like police? Don't y'all have like subway patrol? I know in San Diego.
Let me try to tease out Citizen Lou's question here. Okay, he's saying who should have the authority to restrain somebody? Like, okay, so I'm assuming the only answer to that question that you would accept is either police or security guards. Is that correct?
Well, no. In San Diego, they have like trolley police. Like they get the homeless people out. They throw them out like DJ Jazzy Jeff on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They get too crazy.
Okay, so those are essentially de facto security guards.
Yeah.
Kinda?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, only authorized government stamped of approval people can have the authority to restrain somebody. Okay. We do know and understand that it could take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes for the police to show up.
So, no. I said subway, like I was saying, like this, they should be on the train. They should be at the station. They should get on every trolley.
You ever been to New York, Lou?
I know, but
you understand New York?
I haven't been to New York since. I haven't been to New York since.
It's impossible.
Even the trolley police, they can't teleport.
Well, I'll give you that. Tim, so
teleport.
There's way more people there. Okay.
No. From a practical standpoint, hundreds of miles of tunnel, bro. Hundreds of miles. Like it's a lot to police.
Wait,
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I mean, they ain't got nobody doing that. That's crazy. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I'm surprised too, but
that's what I'm saying. That shocks me. I'm like, wow, okay.
No, there's not enough. New York has the biggest police department in the whole country. It's not enough.
Hey, Bernard, can I jump in one question? I got a couple questions. Okay. Now we know what's gonna happen. If someone act crazy, eventually someone's gonna step up, right? Now I'm saying because I did it. The dude that like face to face, I didn't sneak him. I got him face to face. I was looking right in his face, and I disarmed him right in his face. Okay, that's the difference. Like that behind the back shit, and like I know what you're saying. Like the creep up, and if you got to take a man down from the back, then you got to do what you got to do, right? That's for the dudes that'll the street fighters in here. Do whatever you got to do. But typically, right, if you out there in Cali, isn't that where Michael B. Jordan did a movie of the little black kid he was the black teenager that got murdered by the trolley police?
My Fruitvale station.
Yeah. I mean, because I think that the police, they tend to go overboard too. That was in Cali.
It was in Cali. I didn't know it was in Cali. I thought it was.
That was in Cali.
That was in New Jersey.
Like,
oh, you're right. It was in the Bay. It was in the Bay.
Yeah, you're right. They tend to go. Oh, so you know what I'm saying? I don't know. This white Marine.
What I was doing, bro, I was just giving like my personal what I know in San Diego. Like when them homeless people get crazy, they got they have like little trolley police people, and they come in, they snatch them homeless people out. They get too rowdy, or they check your ticket, see if you got a valid ticket. I mean, somebody's saying I want police everywhere. It's not what I said. I mean, I don't know what you can just have one.
No, I don't think that you said that, bro.
No, I know you didn't say it, but I'm speaking to the audience. But like, I'm sure you can have one dude on the trolley doing shifts. Can you not? I mean, I'm trying to be practical with it. I mean, if you have one guy, one seat designated for him, I'm pretty sure that would.
He can go into the background of the money that it's gonna take. You know what I'm saying? He can go into that because, bro, if you understand what they gonna charge the state, the city, the taxpayers for that for each cop, bro. I believe it's somewhere like six figures. So when the police department or the trolley department offers that contract, bro, you know what it's gonna do to that trolley tickets? They can be paying $10 to go each way. From what I know about how the police negotiate. Know what I'm saying? You want protection? Cool, you gonna pay for it.
Well,
You gonna
yeah,
pay
I
for
feel
it.
you on that. Yeah, $10, like $10. Both. Yeah, one two-way fare. I see what you're saying. I
Yeah,
see.
but no, but
The
shit, but hey,
MTA
but guess what
already
though?
run out of
Hey,
money every other year, so
come on now. And
Well,
guess
well,
what
that's
though?
but they could probably. So that's budget planning. See, but I feel you on that.
And
The
like
prices would increase.
in the city, I mean, with evasion where people don't pay, they kind of like have ways to not pay. I'm reading an article right now from 2022, and that costs about that they miss about $500 million a year because of that.
Thank you. Yep, bro. Like that to put a police officer on each train and he's walking back and forth like a train beat cop, bruh. Dude, he making six figures. He making six figures.
and then even look,
I don't know
Lou,
about
one
six
one
figures. Now,
car,
you might be
That,
stretching with
bruh.
that one now.
one train probably has like 20 cars, maybe 10, at least 10 cars, right? And so he can't even police that whole thing by himself.
Long in short, Citizen Lou, look, man, it's impossible to live in a world where a certain amount of human citizen intervention in a situation is going to happen. Not that anybody is obligated to do it. You obligated to mind your own business and stay as far away from the problem as possible. But it's impossible to say that to live in a world where we can say people shouldn't do it or they're wrong for doing it. The only thing they could do wrong is if you intervene and come through with a knife and stab somebody who wasn't using deadly force, okay, then yeah, you wrong. You're gonna face some charges for that. But just intervening to stop a potential threat to the public, yeah, that's always going to be legal for citizens to do. Like, it's no getting around that.
Hey,
You said a potential threat.
Yeah, but he was just that's what I'm saying. But he was just when he just y'all said he was yelling and said I mean I don't.
If somebody
Hey,
is
Bernard,
making
that good
threats,
Samaritan. Hey, Bernard,
Bro.
you gotta double check that one, sir. That good Samaritan law do not protect you, bro.
I
No,
know
no.
I know it don't protect you if you call somebody if you kill somebody. It don't protect you if you kill
It don't
somebody.
hell,
protect you. So
hell, they had
that's
to
why
they had to
that's
redo
why
it
you
in a lot of states. My bad,
so
man. Like they had to redo the Good Samaritan law because people were getting sued for rendering first aid to other people.
yeah,
Wow.
and guess what? Running across the street, helping that woman. Running, you know what I'm saying? Oh, man, listen, jumping into shit, like you gotta be like, listen,
Yeah.
that Marine, man, his life about to get changed.
Yeah.
But here's what I do. Here's what I do expect: them white folks to unite around him and hit him, so he might be okay. Because they're gonna do the same thing that they did in Minnesota, they're gonna raise a lot of money for that white man, especially with him being a vet, like I am. I'm a vet. He a vet. Shit, man, ain't no way he's going to jail and will go
I
to
don't
court
know.
as a
I don't
public
know.
attorney.
Hold on.
Nah, I'm telling you.
I think and people not ready for this concept,
Go
but
ahead.
I think black people from a cultural, social, and political and woke movement standpoint got them by the balls to the point to where if they don't do something for, as is being reported, this subway murderer, this subway white racist vigilante murderer, the threat of the country burning is worth him doing
6 months.
a 5 to 10 on a manslaughter charge.
He'll be a sacrifice for the altar, right?
Yeah,
Be a lamb.
I think that's what's going to happen. I
That
think
was
that's
my
what's legit going to happen.
Hey, I got two things.
Hold on real quick. Salty Balls in the building says weekend road trip. Just checking in, brother. Absolutely, 100%. Shout out to Salty Balls. Thank you for
Suck on my chocolate salty balls. Put them in your mouth. Put them in your mouth and suck them and suck them.
I'm glad you added that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Had to do it. Had to do it. Woke Quill in the building says, if no one did anything and he beat someone, the internet would say, "Where are the men to step in and save the day? You can't win. Y'all want peace or not?" I agree with
Yeah, that's not how the law works, but okay.
You said that's not how the law works?
Yeah, you can't just assault people because they yelling and screaming. I mean, that's not how it works.
No, nobody is saying
That's not
that
what
you
the super
should
chat
assault
said.
people. Yeah, no.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, until somebody hits you, you can't. I mean, until somebody actually inflicts damage, you I mean, that's just how it works.
Do you
Well,
realize a
that's
threat
called
of violence? A threat of violence is a crime in and of itself, Lou.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It
It
is.
really is.
It is.
No, it's a simple legal fact. No, I'm not. This is the white man's law, bro. Listen, a threat of violence is a crime.
Everything. He's telling the truth. Guess what? Hey, after I disarmed and put that man to sleep in 3 seconds, guess what the cops came up and did? You want to press charges? I could have killed. I literally, the ambulance came and picked him up off the ground. You want to press charges? I sent him to the hospital and I had the choice to press charges. And I said, nah, I don't want to go to court. Because it's like, hey, I don't want to be judged on the fact that I know how to kill people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that I could have been like, well, you did too much damage to him. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Man,
protecting
you know how many
yourself can
threats
go
niggas
bad.
make on these panels every day on Black YouTube? You know how many these niggas gotta be on
internet
FBI?
threats.
If
Internet.
y'all
No,
if y'all saying it's true, how
we
many
talking
niggas
about
just
actually
chat
touching
on this
people, bro.
panel on Finito, according to what y'all are saying?
No,
Yeah,
it's
but
different when you say
people get caught making terroristic threats over the internet too now, and then people been swatted over
A
the
lot
internet.
of y'all niggas about to be up out of
actually,
here.
you know what? You are right. Even over the internet, you are not safe. You make threats, you will get a conversation with law enforcement.
Yeah, recently there was a woman, I think, who ran for Congress like last year. Her son was making threats about shooting his school up, and he was arrested recently.
Yeah.
He had a homeboy on Twitter. FBI came to his house.
Yep, and then it's selective prosecution too. So it depends on who you threaten, and all that other stuff. But what I wanted to add to the conversation is the same chokehold or whatever. 3 police officers got off of during the last year or the second to last year of the Obama administration was Eric Garner. Like that was New York, and that was because he was selling loose cigarettes because of their sin tax. They love
And their police.
they love them taxes. Yeah. Like so, them 3 dudes that were smaller than the guy because he was, I guess, bigger than them. They decided to just the only thing that happened was they outlawed the choke for police to be able to use. That's the only thing that happened, and that wasn't too far off from what this guy did. And I don't even know if they were on duty police officers. They're probably undercovers if anything. And they said because of his past, which is a double-edged blade too, right? So like you do something, somebody's trying to get out of it, and they throw you under the bus by trying to bring up your past. So like hey, be careful with that as well. There's always nuance in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think enough force. This is old, so I mean, I'm sure the video is still in your head. Yeah, I think enough force was applied in that Eric Gardner situation to where, I mean, the man looked to be 450 pounds. I think he died of a heart attack. I mean, so are y'all saying that enough force was applied in those 15 seconds that he was that the arm bar was on there to where that killed him?
No, I think it was partially because of his obesity. I think he was diabetic and was a smoker, so I think that's a partial reason why he died.
Contributing factor.
Yeah,
I don't know too much about it to really weigh in like that.
Yeah, because I mean, I do look at this situation as different than that. I do look at this situation as different than that, but I mean, anyway. Shit, what was I gonna? I had super chats up. Where were the super chats? Clay Bigsby says New York got transit police, but now they've been cut. He's saying the transit police has been cut in New York. Thank you for the $2.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Mega Dreads Gaming Channel says, I just want artificial intelligence to protect so much it gets tired of human and Skynet everyone on a Tuesday. It gets so much it gets tired of human and Skynet everyone on a Tuesday. I don't know exactly what you mean,
Skynet
but
from the Terminator.
That's that's what he means.
yeah, I know he's talking about that, but I don't know what he mean by everyone on a Tuesday.
Oh, because the machines are going to say, "Hey, to protect humans, you got to get rid of them because they're a big threat. They're the largest threat."
Yeah, randomly.
Baby, this is gonna blow them all away.
That's a good one. Freeman's Journal in the building says, Bernard Riley, what is the threat of a continued exodus from New York City? Can New York City afford to convict this guy? I don't know what you mean by can they afford to convict him? I don't know what you mean. Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
I don't think it would look good on Eric Adams politically. I think it would hurt him.
There's definitely people on the right that would that will have an issue if this man is locked up. We'll have an issue if this man is locked up. It ain't no way around that. And my position is simple as this. If it comes back that this man there was no drugs in his system or no other contributing factors or blah 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 blah, then yeah, an attempt to restrain somebody who was making threats, you killed them. It's no getting around that. That's manslaughter at least. So it's no getting around that. But I will never knock men for restraining somebody, on a subway. What if it's an airplane? What if somebody's acting crazy on an airplane that took flight, and they gotta get up and restrain this man until that plane lands?
They look at him like a hero. They look at those people like heroes.
Well, they have U.S. Marshals on every plane, so I'm sure
They probably wouldn't put him in the
Okay,
RNC
fair enough.
type
I'm not aware exactly how plane security works.
That was situational. Like you'll see you'll see one from time to time.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. I don't think it'd be like what I'm saying. It wouldn't. I think they have them strategically placed, like 3 U.S. Marshals in every plane.
I don't think it's on every plane.
It wouldn't be a
Hold
passenger.
on, excuse me. They do not. Why? Because I was on a Delta flight coming back from Miami to Minnesota, and literally the lady woke me up out of my sleep so that I could protect the airplane. She's like, "Hey, I need to put you here because there was no marshal on there, and I'm a big ass nigga."
It was a recent situation where something was going down on a plane, and then they got on the PA and said, it was like any available men can come to the cockpit to help or something. Like because I think somebody was trying to break into the cockpit area.
Oh, okay, so yes, I can see that happening. Yeah,
There was also like a big brawl mid-air between I want to say 6 individuals, and they smashed one of the glasses, and they had to make an emergency landing. That was about a week and a half ago, something like that.
Was it Spirit? Was it Spirit or Frontier?
It was one of those two, I think.
Of course, it was Spirit.
How many
It was Soul Plane Airlines.
Yeah, but this alludes to the class thing. So the people advocating for probably the Jordan Neely guy so much, to where it's almost irrational. Nobody here thinks he deserves to die. Even with hood conservatives hyperbole, leaning into the punch, right? But there's people that that they will be separated by these people, never interact with them, and then advocate on their behalf. And it's kind of class, kind of cultural thing that I always often hear in this space specifically.
Well, one thing that I do want to tease out a little bit. I don't know why I'm extra interested in Citizen Lou's position on the leave people alone, let them do what they do, all the way up until the point to where basically nobody should intervene. And is your position? Nobody should intervene on anything at all until the person physically assaults somebody. Is that pretty much your position on that?
I mean, Yeah, I mean that's kind of like what I think. I mean, if somebody's just whooping and hollering, selling wolf tickets. I mean, I don't really. I mean, you could say you're gonna beat my ass. You're gonna beat my ass. I mean, until you, until you step. I mean, I don't really. Why should I do anything? You know, I don't really. I don't like. I'm not. I don't. When somebody said they're gonna kill me or anything like that. I mean, I'm gonna be alerted, yes, but I mean, until I see like imminent danger or they just keep yapping and yapping like what's happened before. You know, like if I've been on the trolley or I've been walking downtown, somebody, a homeless dude, to be talking, oh, no, give me $1. Oh, you don't give me a fucking $1. Oh, fuck you, I'll beat your ass. And I'll just, all right, come on. And they just keep talking.
Yeah,
So I don't. Yeah,
I guess the reason why I always had a serious problem with that, because I mean, like I said earlier in the show, and I didn't give no details because it was, you know, personal story, individuals that I know, and people I know be listening to my show and shit. So I'm trying to be vague on the details, but there was a situation where somebody did walk into my house. Okay. Yeah, I looked at that as I had full creative control to do whatever the hell I wanted to do to that person. I didn't do a whole lot, but I did, you know, stand my ground and got, you know, the person was pushed back to the porch, in which an argument ensued. But you know, I wasn't even trying to get. It's a personal situation. I don't want to get no details about. But it would, you know. But either way it goes. When by the time the police made it, I'm like, oh, it's hands down, he has to go to jail. But then the police start asking me stupid questions. Well, what did he do when he came in your house? I'm like, he came in my house. Yeah, but what did he do? What the fuck do it matter? You know, but so then he started asking me, did I make initial contact? Well, when he came in, yes, I made initial contact. I'm like, why are you asking me these stupid questions? I'm like tripping. Like, why are you asking me these stupid questions? And then so he's basically saying that, yeah, if somebody comes into your house, you technically would have. He literally tried to explain if he didn't have any weapon in his hand, he didn't do anything violent, he didn't forcibly enter, he just walked in. You would have to wait until he physically tried to do something before you could, be justified in doing whatever you did.
Yeah. See,
so,
Bernard,
he was trying to explain to me that the person technically did nothing wrong, and
Bernard,
but see, Bernard,
it's our state laws.
Yeah,
you
right.
That's
That's a misnomer. A lot of people think that if somebody enters your house, that means insta kill. It actually doesn't. Like you just can't just
Texas. Yes, Texas, it does. I live in Texas. It happened in my. The same thing happened to me in my house in Texas.
Well, okay,
yeah,
the cop was
I'm
on
sure.
some.
Yeah, we know.
To
Yeah,
me,
Texas, I'm not surprised.
To me, the cop was on some bullshit because there was previous argument beforehand. So it was more than just a random lost person just walked up to my house and wanted to borrow some sugar and then took a step in to see if anybody was home like that. Like it wasn't that.
Yeah, when the cops wrote. My bad. That sounds like the cops didn't really want to do paperwork too. So like, just like telemarketers, right? They'll say some stuff to like get you to buy something, or the service people will say some stuff to get you off the phone. Cops they're human, so it shouldn't be like that, but it happens.
Yeah, I put it like this: when a potential threat is on the table, I got a problem with any type of wording of the law that basically says you can't do something, you can't adequately do something about this potential threat until so I was basically saying, okay, so I would have to let somebody come in and punch me first before I'm fully justified in doing whatever I did. It's like it's a weird situation. It's almost like somebody got bad background.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, okay. It's almost like you're literally telling me that people on the subway, can't assess somebody to be a threat on a subway where shit goes down. They can't assess somebody to be a threat and then restrain this person who's making threats until the police comes, until they actually, we gotta wait for somebody to hurt somebody before we can do something about it. It's like that's a weird thing. I just
you
have a
gotta
hard
be
time.
careful.
We don't live in it's not the Minority Report, Bernard. I mean, you can't arrest.
That's why you're not justified.
That's make
killing.
believe.
That's why you're not justified
No,
killing, but you are
it was an
justified
example.
restraining.
I mean, you probably what the fuck? Jesus,
And you know what?
man.
I would probably agree with you, Bernard, if he didn't die.
I know
But-
that's why I'm keeping it on the that's why I said that's the debate. They were justified restraining him, but the fact that he died, now they were wrong. That doesn't mean the initial restraint was wrong. It's whatever was done during the restraint. That's where the problem took place. But that's why I was really interested in what Citizen Lou was talking about, because he was saying no, the initial intervention they're on bad legal or moral grounds even intervening, and I'm like, nah, can't get me with that.
I mean, in the military, we have like what they call the escalate, like the
rules of engagement.
Yeah, rules of engagement, the momentum thing or whatever.
Escalation of force is a police thing.
Yeah, escalate. Thank you.
But
Escalate
yeah,
deadly force. Thank you.
And
I
this
mean,
is just.
Well, I don't think he meant to kill him. Oh, go ahead, Trey. Go ahead. You trying to get it? Go ahead.
I was just say, as far as like Freeman's Journal's point about the mass exodus, and I was just trying to chime in about that what Bernard said about the guy coming in the house. When that happened in my crib in Houston, like the cops looked at me like I was crazy. Like, why weren't you carrying that day? Why you didn't put holes? Why you didn't mag dump this dude? You know, he came in, held Mrs. MBD at gunpoint. You know, I beat the cops there, and they looked at me like I was slipping. Like, man, they wanted to charge me with a crime because I didn't freaking, you know what I'm saying, clap this dude. And it's what Freeman said is like, okay, you got all these folks in New York City who are going to look at this and be like, you know what? Shit, I can't defend myself. I can't defend my wife and kids if I'm on a train. If some freaking idiot is acting a fool, you know what? I'm just going to take my money. I'm just going to dip. Fuck New York City.
Yeah. All right. In the back, well, shout out to Kenneth Williams with the $5 super chat. Appreciate everybody who's supporting the stream. Appreciate it. To Hood Conservative channel, because he just well, that's the link to his live stream. I think you about to go live right now, I presume. Right, Hood? Mic check on Hood. Are you there? I don't think he's there.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. No, I'm already running on CP time, so I'm about to fire up the stream right now. I was gonna pitch this idea to you. It's kind of a toss up, but I figured I would just sink my teeth into this. I'm gonna go here all by myself, so you can claim complete Bernard Riley show deniability. But we're gonna talk about white people's version of the talk. You know how black people have the version of the talk, and it's about the police, right?
Mm-hmm.
White people have a version of the talk, and it's not about the police.
Uh-oh.
Guess who their talk is about?
Yeah, I don't want no parts of that. Yeah.
Why not? Well, Bernard, I'm gonna tell you, bro. But Bernard, even you, bro. Bernard, you gotta look at it like this.
I know they have that talk.
But Bernard, honestly, I had to have that talk with my son when he moved to Seattle. Like, my son, you know, as crazy and, you know, stupid as I can get, my son is the exact opposite. But my son is built like it. He's 6'3", former football player. He got the size on him, but he, you know, he's soft. It's like melted cheese. And I told him, don't say a word. Don't open your mouth. I said, if niggas look at you funny, if crackheads, meth heads look at you funny, just keep quiet and keep walking. They're going to look at you and see you and just go the other way.
Well,
yeah.
So you said you tell him keep your mouth shut. Is that what you said?
Yeah, once you, like, it's rules, man. Once you open your mouth and they say, oh yeah, you talk like this, man. Yeah, they know you soft on the inside.
They're gonna try you.
You know your son
Yeah.
saw. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. God. Well, okay, I feel you. So Dave, I got a question. Can you give me a spoiler? Like, do they teach them how to like when I see those videos of like cops getting just verbally destroyed by citizens? They're mostly white people. So is that like kind of what you're talking about, David, or is it talking about something else? Oh, I guess he stepped away.
There's some joints on them channels where there be black people here and there too.
Yeah, you're right. It is. I mostly it is. You're right.
White folk
they
don't have
know
the same relationship to the police that black people have, so they don't have to have the talk when it comes to the police the way black people. And I don't even know that black people's talk is as necessary as we make it out to be. But my point is that they do have a version of the talk. Like I didn't know this until recently. I suspected it, and now I have definitive hardcore proof. It's like from 2012. It's old proof. So they've been having this talk for a while, and the same way like black parents will sit their young kids down and teach them how to behave when they interact with the police, white parents can they'll sit their young kids down and teach them how to behave when they interact with other people.
Hey, man, all I needed was law and order, man. I ain't need no talk, man. All I needed was boom, 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 boom. That's all I needed, bro. I didn't need
Hood, that is a very, very interesting stream. I definitely gotta listen in on that one, man. That sounds extremely interesting.
It might be a little painful, so try to bear with us. I'm gonna play some stuff to make shock the black sensibilities.
They're having that talk. They're basically, and man, I love to be a fly on the wall for one of those talks where they really just having that conversation where they're telling little Johnny how you conduct yourself around black people. Is like, yeah, damn, that's a good
when
one.
Jamal puts his pants up, go the other way.
Anyway, we about to get up out of here, y'all. But yeah, go check out Hood Server. The link is in the chat room. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate everybody who supported the stream. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.